angry, Aussie. 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 Angry, Aussie. 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 Angry.
Sorry, I was whistling along with the music. Is that Jackie whistling along with my own theme music? I don't know. I was just kind of into it. That's all. And yes, welcome to what some clown has decreed get it done day. Still to get done. Screw that. Musical elevator. I agree with you. Yeah, screw anyone who says do it. I think that's the idea of between Christmas and New Year's. You've got to rush to finish things. Like fuck no. Go between Christmas and New Year's is where you just don't stress if you can avoid it at all. Abigail and Fox of Fate. Hello. Good evening. How are you? Rocking into another week. It's really funny just not knowing what day of the week it is. I was reasonably sure it was Tuesday, and it turned out to be Tuesday. So, yay! I had my shit together and knew it was Tuesday. So that's good. That's a good thing. We'll continue through the week, I guess. So Thursday's New Year's Eve. You're doing a big old stream on Thursday night. Probably take it relatively easy tonight. Thursday, New Year's Eve. You know, we'll go. We'll just go, man. It just goes. Nice. Fox, a haircut and some booze for New Year's Eve. Oh, as did I. I had an actual human interaction day with Abigail and Annette, and we did also all buy booze. I got this Cuban rum. 15-year-old Cuban rum. Should be interesting. I haven't smelled or tasted. I'm going to taste it on the stream. But yeah, I've got my fruit juice at the moment. I was thinking because I'm already thinking of what videos to do for my cocktail channel next week, and I couldn't sort of settle on themes. Justin, back in Canberra for one night. You've done your epic drive. Nice. And so another day's driving back to Melbourne tomorrow. Yep, that's quite the road trip you've given yourself, matey. More power to you. I have not done a really long road trip, and by long road trip, I'd go Sydney, Melbourne, or Canberra, Melbourne, or Dubbo, Melbourne, which is doesn't match to Brisbane to Canberra to Melbourne, and I haven't done that for years. Just last weekend, I did do. Went past Geelong. That's by far the longest drive I've had this year. Obviously, as of like February, March, long drives were kind of ruled out by COVID. Certainly by April. Oh, Fox, you got a Starwood New Old Fashioned. No. It's pre-mixed. You don't need to mix it with anything. But it's also down to your taste. My recommendation for the Starwood New Old Fashioned, big chunk of ice if you got it, but otherwise I think on ice, but others may disagree with me. And the little touch that adds a lot of difference, in my opinion, a bit of orange peel. Get a nice strip of orange peel and spritz the oils over the top of the drink. Wipe the peel around the glass and drop it in. I think that makes a huge difference. Like really, really lifts it. But failing that, just have it on ice. the detour probably did add a lot of time. But by the same token, then you can honestly answer the question when you're at the border. Someone says, like, "Have you been in Sydney?" You go, "No, I have not." Been at the north or south coast? No, I have not. I avoided all of that. We just got to wait and see. It's like everyone in Wollongong's getting tested today because there was a case in Wollongong. Yep. God, I hope they keep it under control. It's like it seems to have gone to an almost best case scenario so far, despite the fuckery of a few people. And but I really worry about Christmas and New Year's Eve. Will those be super spreader events? We won't know that for weeks. Personally, I wouldn't be going anywhere near Sydney until the end of January. I'm not going even then. I've got no reason to go to Sydney. So, but yes, because positive tests tend to lag actual infection events by a couple of weeks. So if you were really gung-ho, maybe the middle of January would be long enough to feel confident about the numbers and if infection had spread. But like I said, personally, I'd err on the side of caution and would wait till the end of January. I'd want to see. Now, okay, and I'll put the caveat on this, if by the second week of January, it's still only single figures of positive tests a day, then I'd calm down a bit and go, oh, okay, I think they have. But if it starts burbling up, to a dozen, 20, 30 cases a day, I'd be like, okay, stay the fuck away until this calms down. And even that number of cases is still something that can be brought under control. Until I see some very low numbers well into January, I'd be a bit worried because they haven't sort of locked things down. Hey, Shannon, how's it going? Fox, ice cubes are your friend. That's what I love, finding big ice cube trays. I got a couple different big ice cube molds because I like to make my drinks with a big ice cream mold. Ice mold. Nothing wrong with ice cream molds either. But I just mean ice. Ice baby, as the saying goes. So, ugh. Oh yeah, Shannon, the fucking New Year's is timing so bad, and someone has to be honest about what was the source of this outbreak, because I'm not aware of that being publicly identified at this point. Like, it's going to, what it's like 99% likely going to point to is the exemptions have been given out far too freely, as in exemptions from quarantine for people coming into the country has been given out far too freely, and there needs to be stricter limits on that. And you can't really do that without pissing people off, whether it's flight crews or diplomats or important persons. So, my thinking would be anyone who's allowed to self-isolate is probably going to have ankle bracelets on. Like, it's going to be, well, you're either going into a hotel lockdown, or they're going to have ankle bracelets and be tracked. And yes, Grasshopper, everything about this has been rich old white people and don't mention their names, unlike young women of color who had their names and photos plastered all over the scumfuck media. But the thing is, and again, it's really hard to avoid the feeling that the New South Wales government is too beholden to the federal government and other right-wing interests and won't take strict enough measures. And if they don't, other states are going to put hard borders up and say, well, you can't come here from New South Wales. You just can't come here from New South Wales is going to be the end result. If people were going to take this seriously, I would say we're looking at a future of flight crews being forced into quarantine at airport hotels, not to leave, except to go to their flight out of the country. And the other people who get exemptions would have to have monitoring bracelets. And it's just like, well, for 2 weeks, you can't leave your fucking house. And if you do, you're going to be arrested and put into enforced quarantine. And Fox, yes, I've seen that. There's been a number of people, including people from, the Northern Beaches hotspot, who've just decided they were going to fuck off out of Sydney because they wanted to, because they're so fucking entitled. Abigail, fun story, meeting up with someone for drinks and other stuff, asked to meet her. Oh, wow. Okay, I hear this. I hear this story from lesbians all the time. You always know someone who knows someone. You're meeting up for drinks and other stuff at her place, but first you're meeting her at an ex's place because your date is feeding your ex's fish. I've heard variations of that so many times. Dang. It reminds me of back in the olden times, the early days of internet dating, when it still wasn't, commonly accepted. It was still thought of as being a weird thing to do. And there was an ad on a tram or a bus for one of the dating websites. And the tagline, which I thought was very effective, was, "Date someone your friends haven't dated." I thought that was a pretty good slogan myself. There we go. You've had one of your exes date your then girlfriend's friend. Yeah. Relationships generally are weird. But yes, if you're part of, I guess, a subset of the community, a smaller community, it's more likely to get weird. So I'm just fiddling with this bit of the label that was on my bottle, because it was partly coming off, and I'm a real fidgeter. It was annoying me. So I think I'm going to keep this bottle, because it's a neat bottle. I like the shape of it. It's quite like a vase. It's got a stopper. So even when I finish the rum, I think I'll keep the bottle. I was thinking I had enough bottles, but this is just a cool bottle. Soak the labels off, and Particularly this, I reckon, with a brightly coloured drink, this would look cool. Santisma Trinidad de Cuba. Ron. Finest 15-year-old, original de Cuba. Founded in 1944. So is ron Spanish for rum? Is that what that is? Oh, Shannon, anything's a sex toy if you're brave enough. This looks like some sex toys I've seen, quite honestly. Fox, it looks like a bottle pirates would drink out of. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, let's get into it. I haven't even smelled this. I haven't popped the cork, as it were. Ooh. Ooh. My wordy, that's that classic funky rum. The sugar molasses smell. Ooh, I feel like it's burning my nostril hairs now. It's only 40%. It shouldn't be that fierce. I'm getting a little shot glass. Speaking of fierce,
Hello.
me.
How you going?
Yeah, good. Oh, yeah.
Wow, your audio cleaned up like that.
All right, well, that's a
I
plus.
don't have to pretend I know what you're saying. It's just
All right.
like, fucking
Well,
there's
that's
angry saying stuff. And
I had
can hear it.
that's good. I had a human interaction day today, and
Don't
got a bottle
do
of
that. Don't
got
do
a bottle of
fucking
Cuban
human
rum.
interaction. Fuck's sake, angry. I've told you again and again and again. The human interaction involves Funkles, some Zoom, some of this.
Yeah.
Not arm's length with people. No trams, no trains, only cars you're driving. In fact,
Yeah.
on big roads with signposts, so you can't just fucking run people off the road. You know, we've chatted about fucking human interaction and you. I'm not going to smile.
Oh, that sounds pretentious. We've chatted about human interaction with you. Right. I'm going to taste my new rum anyway.
I reckon I had another minute to go, but I fucking just liked it.
Big bad ads, people's rum. Oh yeah, Grasshopper. We'll probably do an angry bunch, just to sort of settle in and chill out for a bit, and then I also wanted. There's no Americans in the stream yet that I know of, but because this is a Cuban rum, Americans wouldn't be able. Well, they wouldn't be able to get it easily because it is illegale because of the dumb politics.
Yeah, but they've changed a lot of that now. I understand they're starting to trade more and more.
Well, let's look up USA Cuba trade. What does the US export to Cuba? Humanitarian goods. Is there a travel ban on Cuba? Telling US... Sorry, I'm looking at this. There's a level 4 travel advisory recommending US citizens not travel to Cuba due to health and safety concerns and COVID-19 related conditions. Motherfucker, nowhere's worse than the US.
I was going to say, that'd be a Cuban thing going, no.
Yeah, I know.
No, don't get off the plane. Don't get off the plane.
Oh, here we go.
You know how
Sorry.
we used to have closed borders?
Yeah.
Closed again.
Yeah.
Build a wall.
So yeah, something like that. I think it's like, yeah.
Pay for that wall. We will pay for that wall now. We've changed our fucking minds, and it's going to be a bit higher.
Yeah. Suddenly the world's coming around to Trump's idea of a wall, but to keep them in.
Right round. Canada's going, Mexico, that wall. How'd you do it?
Yeah.
So what are you drinking?
It's a Cuban rum that I picked up today because it was on special, and also I wanted to get a Cuban rum so I could taunt Americans with a rum. But you may be right about the trade embargo. I just found something after a brief thought. Oh no, it's okay. after a brief thaw under one president, which was Obama, promptly froze with the next, which is Trump. There it stays today. So, yeah, Trump reimposed the Cuban embargo.
What a fuck.
So,
What a fuck.
oh, he's a complete fuckwit. He's a complete fuckwit. I love this one from
Fucking
Abigail.
helping. I mean,
Yeah,
for Christ's sake, you know, some of the most brilliant pieces of improvised technology in the world have come from Cuba. There was at one point a government issued ration dinner tray that everyone got for a fucking imminent American invasion because, well, there was a couple.
yes.
So, you know, it wasn't a bullshit thing, you know, because
Yeah.
it could actually happen, because it did actually happen. Anyway, this thing contained food that would go off, so they ate it. But
Yeah.
the actual tray itself, put on a stick and having wires come down, makes a pretty good TV aerial. So you go around to outer city, Havana, and sort of biggest regional centres, and there's all these dinner trays up fairly high on poles, and it's the TV aerial. The other thing,
pick up the
I
one
found out
TV
from
station.
sources, which is basically distorted view, and Timmy Boo's boyfriend, who is Cuban, and his boyfriend will not allow any toilet paper in the bathroom that's not on the roll.
Right.
Because in Cuba, if you have guests around and there's toilet paper not on the roll, they steal it.
Nice.
And you don't put your toilet paper anywhere in a cupboard
where someone could steal it.
Right? You put it somewhere weird,
yeah,
like under your bed.
They have to ask for it. Okay.
Yeah.
That's all right. Anyway, I'd rather be in the Cuban medical system than the US. Cuba might not have the cutting edge rich people bullshit that rich people like the 1% get in America, but general healthcare is so much better in Cuba than America.
They also have the highest literacy rate in the world.
Yes, they do have a pretty good education system. Sorry, I just wanted to share. I love this line from Abigail randomly. If I were a dominatrix, I'd advertise myself as propane and propane accessories, and the dungeon would be called Kink of the Hill. So, which is for fans of the animation King of the Hill.
Abigail, if I was a mistress, okay, Abigail, if you were,
Oh my
darling.
God. Yeah. Sorry, this is like honey. This is like honey.
Yeah. This is like vitamins in water.
Oh, it's like real warm. Like it's good old pirate grog rum. It's real warm going down, but not like the overproof ones I have, where if you try and just drink the overproof one straight, and it's like,
why must you fight me?
I'm going to put a chunk of ice in here. That's all right. Got some ice. Was it Shieldsy? Hello. Shieldsy back from visiting mum and dad at Christmas. Well, I hope that was nice. Abigail's asking, what's the Oz advisory for visiting the US? At a guess, it's don't go if you want to get back in the fucking country. It's just like...
Yeah.
They had this, one of the maps of COVID in the US was color coded, and it was green as things are improving, orange is things are okay, and no, yellow is things are okay, orange is things are getting worse, and there was red is things are bad, and there's a dark red was it's out of control. And watching over a period of weeks, going from blotches of the dark red and just spreading. And now every state, including the non-continental US states, so including Alaska and Hawaii, are classified as spread out of control. Dude, I hate saying it, and I hope I'm wrong, but based on available evidence, by the end of January, they're looking at 10,000 dead a day. That's just, it's spiraling out of control.
Jesus, Trump. Fuck, mate.
Oh,
Come on,
sorry.
dude.
Abigail's now saying it was just a joke. She doesn't have what it takes to be a dominatrix.
You do.
Uh,
Don't fucking lie to us, Abigail. You could kick the shit out of someone and call them a nasty little piggy. A nasty little piggy who's going to get their dick stepped on if they're good.
If they're good. If they, yeah, how do you threaten a sub when they actually want you to do that? Like there are guys who get turned on by being kicked in the balls. It's like wild. Okay, cool.
It's tricky. I knew a dominatrix who got out of it because she said, "Okay, look, you spend a day making the script, right?"
Sorry, I'm just mildly orgasmic feelings about this rum. So sorry if that's distracting. If I shudder occasionally,
Not distracting. It's kind of adding to the story. You spend
Yes.
a day. You spend a day writing the script with the sub. Okay, and there's not one but 3 levels of safety word. Okay, 1 shuts it down completely. 1 is we are approaching danger
Yeah.
and we are going too far away from what we've agreed.
Yeah.
For this to be good. And 1 is just be a bit more careful.
What you do?
Right? So there's 3 levels of safety
Okay.
word, and 1 is the stop button. That's it, stop. We're done.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like green light, yellow light, red light. That's,
Exactly.
That's what a lot of people use. Yes.
Yeah. And
What's that?
and sometimes, in fact,
What is that?
it's interesting if you say that because sometimes the DOMs go, "Oh, I might have fucked up there," and
Yeah.
they'll ask lights, and then the sub will go green light, yellow light, red light.
Oh wow! Sorry, just also noticing Shieldsy saying because he's been with his folks, his old man picked up last week. He's converted an old school bus to a motorhome.
Nice.
And apparently the seats are somewhat less than stable, as in Shieldsy describes it as being like a bucking bull trying to sit in the seat in the bus.
Oh, yeah. I remember the school buses they used to give us. And they were the shittest buses they could find. And, you know, these seats were fucking... Sometimes they would fly sideways into the other seat and crush children in the middle because all the bigger, tougher kids got to sit down and all the littler kids got to stand up.
Yeah. 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 It's always been a marvel to me about seatbelts are mandatory. They're the most thing. Make sure your kids buckle up. The kids are our future. School buses never had seatbelts on them.
Nah.
You got like 50 kids in one vehicle. No
Yeah.
seatbelt.
Yeah. Bus carries 39, 50, 60 kids. No worries.
Yeah.
And those fuckers used to roll all the time.
Well,
And what was weird was the kids would fucking go, "Oh, shit, fucking hell. Hey, we get to push out the windows. Yeah." And they'd kick out push windows out, you know, even the ones that are on the ground. Push the window out, even if the door was open. And then they'd all fucking crawl out and the bus driver would be counting everyone. And then people be going, "Fuck yes, I'm going home." And bus driver going, No, stop here, I've got to count you. Well, you've counted me, I'm going home. Fuck this. And then the cops would turn up and say, "No, you're not going home, you're staying here." Oh, fucking hell, can you fucking cops, you can't. We learned
What do
it.
you think on the school excursions? Because when you're from the country and you go on school excursion, that means the bus drives for a couple of hours to get you where you're going. and how many birds do we hit? Basically, it was usually only birds. And just watching it, because the birds misjudge this huge square shape of the bus, and they hit cars sometimes, but not very often. But they misjudge.
How
the big
many
bus.
galahs do you hear go dum underneath
Yeah.
the car? Dum, 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 dum,
Yeah.
dum. Because they're like in the middle of the road picking up what's not, and I look at the car
Yeah.
going, "Whose car?"
Yeah, as normally galahs, we hit a white cockatoo once, which is like twice
That's
the
rare.
size of the galah. That made a noise when it hit the windshield.
Oh, did it come through?
No, it actually glanced off and made a bunch of noise as it went spiraling past us. Like, blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, you didn't die instantly, but you're fucking dead. You are going to hit the highway, and then it will be your last thoughts were like, what the fuck was that?
I was just flying along and I got hit by something. It was
Yeah.
big. You see all the cockatoo police there with notepads going, right, so you got hit by something. Can you describe it? It was big and square.
Yeah.
And they look at each other going, it's that fucking UFO case again, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had a lot of sightings of these big square cigar-shaped objects.
Yeah. I think what helps them sometimes with cars is the airflow. Because fuck knows, I've seen some birds just barely miss my car on country roads. And I think it's like the airflow over the car, they're able to ride it. But the buses are just square and flat at the front, and they just smack into
and there's
it.
no streamlining whatsoever, so there's just like splash.
Yeah, they're just splash.
I've seen raptors and magpies,
Yeah.
smart asses basically,
Yes.
come down to cars and then find the boundary layer and sit there and just like ride the car while they may be doing something else like fucking eating a rat, but they just ride the car for free.
Yeah.
Because they're not using any energy. Fuck it, let the car fucking. Oh, I just thrown a noodle on my screen.
Oh no!
Yeah, here you go. Got it now. And they ride the boundary layer, and you see a few of them turn up, and they ride the boundary layer, and then of course, for whatever reason, the car's got to stop or slow down or change lanes, and you see all these birds going, "Whoa, fuck! I'm gonna fly now."
Yeah, it gets pretty messy.
Wasn't expecting that. I was telling someone today, one of my favourite things ever was I saw a kangaroo embarrassed. Because kangaroos are one of those classic Australian animals, like a lizard, like a snake, like a black cockatoo, like a cockatoo. And they're like every Australian animal, they look at you and going, "What are you looking at, cunt?" And they mean it too. They mean they're going to hurt you. And spiders do too, except they got more eyes to do it. And this road we were on had just been, we're in Bathurst, and this guy lived 20 k's out of town, and the dirt road had been graded, so there was a like a mound of earth on each side of the road where it had been pushed up on the side of the road. And this kangaroo, it's night time, this kangaroo is bounding along the road because it's easier to bound on the roads than it is to go through the bush. We've come around the corner and there he is, and we've slowed right down. He's looking back at us and going, "Oh yeah, I'll bound on for a little while longer." And he's finally gone, "I better get out of the way." And he's gone over the rill, and he's got his toe caught and then tumbled over. And then stood straight up and then looked around like, fucking, did anyone see me? Shit. And he's bounded off. But the funniest part was when he looked around to see if anyone was fucking looking. Us, he didn't give a shit about. But if there's any other kangaroos looking at him, he would have got shit for days.
Yeah.
Oh, you fell over, you fucking idiot. Yeah, and it was the fucking funniest thing. We all pissed ourselves in the car when he was looking around embarrassed. Never seen an embarrassed kangaroo before. They always look aggressive or fucking purposeful.
Yeah.
Never embarrassed.
Oh, okay. Abigail's got some science for us. There's an effect with wings called the ground effect that changes the dynamic of the airflow under the wing when close to the ground, gains extra lift, as for fixed wings. The boundary layer is terminology in fluid dynamics that refers to a different phenomenon. Yes, so there you go. And just for fun, Shieldsy says, north of Rocky, it's Death Valley for roos and birds on the highway. But then you get those fucking road trains once you get out and about in Queensland. They're terrifying because they just have the momentum and they don't slow down.
They don't stop. They don't stop. Because you can't stop a road train unless you've got like 5 kilometres notice. Yeah. Mind you, I've seen them stop at stop signs in the middle of the desert. They'll stop at a stop sign. And there's, you know, if you had radar on, you'd go, well, there's a person maybe at 1,000 kilometres away.
Yeah.
And then they'll go again. And you ask these truckies, why do you stop at stop signs in the middle of the desert? And they said, well, you only have to crash into a road train coming the other way once with its parkers on to realise that it's a really ugly scene. You know, you only have to see that one time to go, oh, maybe not.
Yeah. Yes, because sometimes you think there's nothing there and it's there. Safa, good evening to you, sir. Okay, Abigail's going to come over for New Year's Eve. So apparently we're going to science and nerd shit out of. So that's something. So I'm coming up with a cocktail to try my new rum with, and I'm currently could be a test pilot, or maybe Ace of Clubs is too simple. 2 ounces of rum, half an ounce lime juice, 1/4 ounce creme de cacao. Test pilot, we get to mix the amber rum, white rum, Cointreau, Falernum, lime juice, bitters, and a few drops of absinthe. So, and they say maybe you got to get a blender one day to make blender cocktails. You know, you just chuck all the ice in, and so you end up with like an alcoholic frappe. Oh, nice! Abigail's going to make New Year's Eve an actual science challenge night. So people come up with science questions, and we'll go hardcore nerd. I think that's what I'm just going to call it then, because I'm always wondering what to call the live streams. Just call it a nerdy New Year. We're going hard on the science.
Yeah.
Oh no! How about this one? Royal Bermuda Yacht Club. 2 ounces of rum, 3/4 ounce lime juice, teaspoon of Cointreau, and 1/4 ounce of Falernum.
No wonder these fuckers never get seen again.
Yeah.
You know, you drink fucking 4 or 5 of those and go sailing and you're fucked. You know?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
aliens got them. No, they missed and crashed the boat into the sea.
They fell overboard. Why was the Mare Celeste? What happened to the sailors? They just all got drunk and fell overboard.
You know, the Mare Celeste was carrying alcohol.
Was till they all got pissed in a storm and fell over the side. But yeah,
there was a suggestion.
I think you're onto something. It's like people trying to say Harold Holt disappearing was a conspiracy because his body was never found. It's like, have you gone to that bit of the ocean where he got ripped out to sea? The first time I saw it, I was like, oh, fuck. That's why Harold Holt got ripped out to sea. It's when you see the water, it is so fucking obvious he was a complete idiot for going swimming there. And it's brutal.
Not as brutal as John Gray Gorton's face, though.
I'm going to make a test pilot, I think. This rum, some white rum, Cointreau, falernum, lime juice, and a few dashes of absinthe. Drops of absinthe, not dashes.
Righto.
Shake with ice.
Have you got a nice shaver?
No, I don't even. You can get. There's a particular bag you can get. I forget what they call it, but it's like a cloth bag that you put your ice in it and then bash the shit out of it with like a rolling pin or something to crush it. I don't have one of them. Maybe I should get one of them. The other thing is to get a blender and make blender cocktails. But
A blender will do it.
yeah,
Will it blend? Yes.
yes. Olden days of YouTube. Will it blend?
The Will It Blend was one of my favorite watches. And somebody donated an iPhone. No, someone donated an iPod, and it blended quite neatly.
Yeah.
Except that as soon as it went in, you could see the metal going, and then it went black as all of the LCD came out.
Yeah.
And then they put an iPhone in there as it was going color, and grind, and then black. That's all of the LCD came out. And and of course, at the end of it, they pour the ingredients onto a paper towel, and he's wearing a mask.
Yes.
Because some of that stuff gets really fine.
And there are some bad poisons in a modern battery, for instance.
Right. Well, that was the interesting thing. They blended a Samsung, and the fucking thing exploded. And the
That was the thing they did for a while. Yes.
And the
dodgy
top
batteries
came off the blender and was on fucking fire. And they stopped the video. They had to get the fucking fire extinguisher, and you could see the blender start to sag as it was on fire. And Samsung offered them several $1 million to take the video down, which they did.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you go a little bit cheap on the batteries, the risk of them exploding goes up. Apparently, just a little rupture in the battery is enough to cause a reaction that can ignite. So something you have in your pocket that could just explode, not great.
Well, I mean, I know people who used to steal phones off people and then put staple guns through them and watch them explode.
Yes. That seems like a very nice thing
I
to
thought
do.
that was a bit extreme.
That seems not nice at all.
Considering it was, a little bit of expensive technology, it would be difficult to replace.
Yes. I might use my Pacific Moonshine. What the fuck?
And I heard the other day here in sunny Northcote.
Yeah.
I have started to walk around town without cards.
Yeah.
And with just my phone.
Right.
Because it pays everything.
Tap and go, yeah.
It's not a card, so you can't read it unless you're just running government. And then if you steal it, it's programmed to my face.
Yes.
And obviously my numbers, which you won't guess.
Yes.
And the security questions are very fucking obscure. Like, very fucking obscure.
Yeah.
You will understand this, right?
Yeah.
What is the colour of the sky? Don't say.
Yeah.
But that's one of the questions, and people fuck it up all the time.
Yeah.
And for good reason.
Yes. Yes, because the answer appears obvious.
It does. And my other question that comes up all the time is, what is your porn name? And it's funny listening to an Indian or a Malaysian chick going, okay, excuse me, sir, what is your porn name? And I'd have to tell them.
Yeah.
And they go, yes, that is perfectly right. I'm sending you through now. And they just want to get the fuck out of there. They don't want to know about this guy.
Yeah.
So your porn name is the first pet you ever had and the first street you ever lived in.
Yes.
It's very easy to remember.
Yes.
Anyway, so this phone of mine is got questions on it when you try and ring in to get it unlocked.
Yeah.
It's got my face on it. And it won't read unless I take my mask off.
Of course not. Yeah. Sorry, just really quickly, I just want to say hi, Sarah on Facebook, who came in to say hello. I was confused when I first started wearing masks and my phone wouldn't open, and it took me a second to realize it can't see my face.
And so, so it's got to see my face. It's got to get the right numbers. It's got to get the right question. And here's the kicker. The GPS never goes off.
Okay.
I've set it so that it's trackable when it's off.
Right. Yes.
So that I ring up Telstra and say, some kid just stole my phone. Can you get it back for me? And they go, yeah, sure. It's in Frankston or Broadmeadows. And I'm happy to shit on those suburbs because they deserve it. And and so the cops come around and get my phone back really quickly because Apple told them to. And
how can you remember the street first street you lived on because you were 0 years old? Well, you could be like me and live on the same street for 18 years, and that's really easy to. We did not move. I barely moved bedrooms when I was a kid. We did not do much at all. So
luxury. When I was a kid, there were no rooms in the house. There was one room. And everyone had to sleep on stroller tatami mats.
Yeah. But what does get me
as they come up through the bloody futons.
Yeah. No, what gets me if someone's doing a security check for a job and they start asking like where you lived 10 years ago, 20 years ago. And I'm like, I don't fucking remember.
I have no idea, mate.
And just, and they get a bit narky when you just go, I don't know. Okay.
And what I do when that happens is I say, well, mate, at last count, in my 51 years, I've lived in 35 different houses. So your guess is as good as mine. 10 years ago, I'm going to say Melbourne, and it could have been one of these three. So pick one.
Yeah, I love it. Sarah's porn name, Lockie Nelson, does sound like a very Scottish porn star.
It does, doesn't it?
Very Scottish porn star.
I like it.
Yeah.
I had a
choice
because we were fairly close to a corner. We weren't on the corner, but I had a choice of Nothing Bruckheimer.
Nothing Bruckheimer.
And that wasn't what I wanted. I wanted something a bit more ballsy, and I got it. I'll tell it to you one day, but I won't say it over the video because there's smart enough people who have worked out the first question If they
Yeah.
work out the next question, I'm fucked.
Yes, but yes. So again, yes, I could have chosen a few. Depends. Was it one of the dogs? I was thinking, and they're pretty good porn names, Jake or Prince. A pretty good porn name.
Oh,
But then I realised we had a cockatoo that, in a true country fashion, we named Cocky, and so Cocky's a pretty good porn name, quite honestly.
it is actually for a porn star. Cocky Rodriguez, or even Cocky Walangaba, is a pretty good porn name.
Yeah.
Actually, Cocky Walangaba is now going to be a character that I will bring up several times.
Good.
during this and subsequent live streams.
Good.
Remember
Cocky Walangaba
is a pansexual and has mixed race heritage, Cocky Walangaba.
Yeah.
And he had a hospitalisation when he choked on semen that went down the wrong pipe when he was doing a triple penetration in his mouth.
Right.
Because you can't, you don't know when these things are firing. Not all cocks fire straight. Some go sideways, and it went into his lungs, and there was real worry because he was coughing up, baby batter for quite some time. But Cocky Walangaba is a survivor, and he's gone on to make such classics as Butthole Surfers 65. He's gone on to 18 Women, 1 Cream Pie, lots of fun. And that was his. He co-produced that.
Yeah, see, that's where the real career is, in producing.
Yeah. He was in front and behind.
In more ways than one. I like what you've done there. Thank you. I'm going to use my other toy I bought today, cocktail pick, in the shape of a dueling sword.
Yeah, right.
Looks like a rapier. Yeah, it's a rapier, I think.
I think it is.
I was thinking the handle made me think of a saber. Obviously, the pointy bit looks like a rapier, but God, now I'm trying to. Okay, there's too much room in the jar. I'm trying to spear cherries to give my drink a nice garnish, and they're moving around too much. I need to get a spoon to catch a cherry or two.
Fair enough. Swords don't do all the work. Sometimes it's diplomacy.
Yes.
Sometimes you need the spoon of level-headedness to go, look, when the war is over, we're going to have to trade again. We're going to have to set up customs houses at the border to get the fish we so desperately need and the lumber you so desperately need across the border so that we can make and eat the things that we dearly love. So look what you've done there. You've triple skewered these, what was it, strawberries or cherries?
Cherries.
Cherries are hard to skewer because they
Morello cherries. See, now I look sexy and stylish.
Look at that.
I look sexy and stylish.
Garnish right there.
So might actually put a bit of cherry flavor in here.
Ooh. Is that the drink you were working on, or is Oh, it is.
Yeah. No, this is first time.
It looked a bit eggnoggy there for a while.
No. It's a rum drink. First time using the new rum in a drink. So gonna see. Abigail tells me it's a basket-hilted rapier. Yes, I know a saber is curved. It's the handle that made me think of a thing. And obviously, from a blade point of view, your cocktail skewer is going to look like a rapier. But Oh, yeah. All right. Noise. What was that called again that I just made? It's a test pilot. Okay.
Test pilot.
Yeah.
I thought it was Touch Me on the Pony.
After the third one, it's Touch Me on the Pony.
I've often see. I didn't know that Boss of the House was a brony until this afternoon.
Oh, wow. Till this afternoon. Okay.
And he came out and said, the unicorn is a thing that I love.
Mm-hmm.
The alicorn is a thing that I love. And I'm just going, new words. And he said, friendship is magic. And I'm going, okay.
Yeah.
He wants me to save up to take him to PonyCon this year.
Right.
If it's
Okay.
on.
Yeah.
And so I will be taking Boss of the House to PonyCon this year.
Okay.
He is so not listening to me.
Oh, dear.
He's got his
That's
headphones
what this whole
in.
conversation
Can't hear
was.
a fucking word.
To see if he's hearing
And I
you.
was just stirring shit out of him, and he's like going, because I've never seen someone so aggressively anti-unicorn in my life.
Okay.
And I keep on buying him unicorns. Because and one he's hanged from a coat hook. One he's beheaded. I think it was guillotined at his when he was teaching at school. He's finished that now. He's got a new job. No. Working with robots. No. I think he guillotined the head off this fucking this unicorn. It was really clean. Like
That's
the
a bit
cut was
troubling.
really clean, and I was going, oh, it's a bit fucked up.
Yeah, a little bit.
He's cut the unique horn off one of the unique horns and given it a cloaca and stuck the unique
Oh my
horn.
god.
Yeah.
He really doesn't like unicorn.
He really doesn't like the unicorn. And I'm just going, there's got to be a way to... No, there is no way. But I reckon I could force him into a corner where he's got to say that he likes unicorns or not breathe. Because his oxygen addiction is just fucking outrageous. And when you take it away from him, he will just do anything. And I'm not talking about fucking clasping hands. I'm talking about the Capuchin fucking system of plastic bag over the head.
Yeah.
You know. Which is wildly fucked, by the way.
Yeah. You had me going there with, and then my brain blanked out. Talking about oxygen addiction just made me think of Immortan Joe from Mad Max Fury Road when he releases the water to the dirty masses and says, "Do not become too addicted to water, for you will resent its absence." And I was like, dude, don't get addicted to water? What are you saying?
You will resent its absence. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I
Yeah,
will.
I would resent its absence, definitely.
Every time.
Yeah. Oh, and now I just reminded myself that Hugh Keyburns died just recently. So now I'm depressed.
Who did?
The actor who plays Immortan Joe and the toe cutter in the original Mad Max, Hugh Keysburn died quite recently, actually.
He would have been getting on, though, wouldn't he?
In his 70s, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
He wasn't a young man, but still.
And he was a stuntman before he was an actor. I mean, he fucking hurt his body a lot. One of the reasons he got the toe cutter job was he was a stuntman and could do all of the shit that they asked him to do. And they found out he could act as well. And then they stuck him in that thing that Russell Crowe was in about computers and having
No,
to,
you're mixing
and
up.
Denzel Washington. Russell Crowe and Denzel Washington were in it.
Yeah, you're mixing up the guy who was the Mohawk biker in Mad Max 2. He made one or two American movies. But yeah, Hugh Keays-Byrne did one or two things over the years. Did some TV. Apparently, everyone loved him. Although I did love, they were telling the stories after he died in the original Mad Max. He's talking to George Miller. He's saying like, we should really look like filthy bikers. The whole bunch of us should just get on the bikes and fuck off for a week before we start shooting and not wash and just camp. And then we should show up on set and we'll actually look like filthy bikers. And George is like, knock yourself out. And so Hugh led all the boys out and they just did a road trip for a week and they came back and apparently scared the shit out of Mel Gibson, who was quite a young man at that point. And he's starting to think like, George, why did you hire these really quite dangerous and scary men? Because I'm not.
George is going, awesome.
Yeah. So, but apparently,
Because
he's been just nice,
lovely guys. They're really sweet, lovely guys, and they were all really shocked when those two poor bastards died. When the truck stunt fucked up and rolled over the two of them and killed them. And I mean, obviously, the whole fucking production shut down. And their wives came back and said, no, keep going and leave the footage in because they always told us that it was dangerous and this is why they were paid, because it was dangerous and they were good at it. And sometimes mistakes happen, but they do take a lot of care.
Yeah.
And George Miller since hasn't had any stunt problems. There's no stuntman been injured on any of his films ever since.
There's in the making of making of Fury Road, the very spectacular truck crash at the end of Fury Road. Again, they were very nervous about it because it was a major physical stunt and it was a dangerous one, and it would be difficult to do it more than once. And they besides the film cameras they were shooting with, they had a video feed running out of them so they could get instant playback of the take and make sure it was okay. And there's this bit, it's on the making of, they're watching it back on the screen, and George sees the cabin crush the guy in the driver's seat of the truck, and he's like, oh God, what, is he okay? And because he'd forgotten for a second that was a special stunt truck and the driver was actually lowered down in a reinforced cage and he was looking through the grill of the truck. That was a dummy sitting in the driver's seat, which did get fucking crushed when the truck rolled. And there's just this moment where George Miller freaks out because he sees the playback of this figure in the driver's seat get crushed. And he's like, oh my God. And he went, oh no, wait, that was the dummy. Oh.
That's right. We built this special truck.
Yeah.
And, but the fucking engineering in those fucking stunt vehicles is fucking astounding.
Oh,
they
God, the people who built the cars for Fury Road had the time of their life.
They build police cars that fucking get blown up and roll and shit. And there's guys sitting down, sometimes in the boot or the Americans call the trunk of the car, driving, and they're looking through periscopes.
Yeah.
To drive the car, so that they can smash the front of the car and squash it. And of course, they're all harnessed in and roll cage to fuck. I mean, there's nothing going to happen to them. And, it's like, and after that, incident in Mad Max, George Miller insisted that no stuntman will be ever injured, ever.
Yeah. Oh,
on
they did
anything he
get
did.
you get hurt, like in Mad Max 2. Oh no, it was one. No, it was in Mad Max. This guy didn't get killed, but he got hurt, and you see it as he comes off the bike. And he's rolling down the road, stuntman style. The bike hits him in the back of the head.
Yeah.
That hurt him, but he was fine. And it is the same thing. George Miller was like, "Oh God, yeah, I don't want to use that. That's exploitative." And the guy's like, "You are fucking using that, man. I'm telling everyone that's fucking
Totally
me.
fucking using
That's
it.
me
That's
taking
awesome.
a motorcycle
It was-
to the head."
Yeah, I took a bike to the head, and I'm that cool. I'm the coolest motherfucker in the world. But I know how that happened because I read a bit about that. And the bike hit a tussock of grass,
Yeah.
and the guy rolled slightly in the wrong place. So several sort of things had to line up for it to happen, because the bike was going to miss him by not much, but it was going to miss him.
Yeah.
And the bike just hit it and spun just a little early, and he rolled a little far. Not much, because it's a glancing blow.
Oh, it just barely, but a bike doing a glancing blow on your helmet. You've got a goddamn feel. Oh,
Yeah,
hi,
that's
Big Pat,
concussion.
by the way. Hello.
How you going? Yeah, a glancing blow is still concussion.
Speaking as someone who got a glancing blow from a fucking discus, a glancing blow from a motorcycle is going to be something that you remember.
Yes.
Glancing blow from a discus is bad enough, but
Yes.
motorcycle.
You're also going to remember scraping the poo out of the leather pants.
Oh, yeah, I think he woke up in hospital because you see his head go snap forward, and I think it was nothing permanent, but it was like you're not moving your neck much for a couple of weeks.
Do you know, when I was moving house from when I got divorced and got evicted, and everyone came and helped me, they were lovely. I was walking towards the cupboard under which the fridge had lived for many, many years, 15 years or so. And I hit my head merely on the corner of the cupboard.
Ooh.
And I fell over backwards. And everyone said, "Are you okay?" And I said, I'm fine. Next thing I remember, I'm in hospital getting a tube taken out of my mouth and dialysis cords taken out of me. And I go, what the fuck's going on here? And the next thing I remember, I was moved in. I mean,
dear.
The slightest fucking concussion can cause a major fucking concussion. And I had a fairly fucking full-on concussion. It wasn't a playtime thing. It was it was a fucking hello, sailor. You're not pansexual today, are you, smart ass?
Yeah. No, that's a bit roof.
Yeah.
Abigail's saying she's had the chance to see all the cars used in Fury Road in person, close enough to touch. I'm jealous. I'm officially jealous. That was a combination of dudes who are obsessed with cars and dudes who are engineers being allowed to do literally whatever they want. And they go, I'm going to cut that off that, and I'm going to stick it on that, and then I'm going to put wheels like this on it, and it's going to be cool. And they were just allowed to do whatever the fuck
they wanted, as long as it looked fucking amazing. And one of the cars that looked fucking amazing was the car that had speakers all over it.
The Doof Wagon.
Sorry?
The Doof Wagon.
The Doof Wagon, and someone had a spot to stand and play guitar.
Yeah, the Duff Warrior.
It was
the guy with the flame
arranged so that
guitar.
someone could play guitar at the front, going fucking 100 kilometers per hour, which is a dream come true for many engineers and petrol heads.
And yeah, the drummers on it as well, who were modelled on the Japanese Tanto drummers. Is one of the things George Miller does in nearly every Mad Max movie. I don't think he does it in Mad Max 2, but he does it in the original, and he does it in Mad Max 3, and he does it in Fury Road. There's soundtrack playing, and then the camera kind of pans around and go, oh, no, that's not incidental music. That's a character doing the music. In the original, it's Max's wife playing the saxophone. In Mad Max 3, it's one of Tina Turner's courtiers playing saxophone. And in Fury Road, it reaches its apex where you've got that driving drumming and this big helicopter shot comes around. And then you see, oh no, one of the trucks is actually got 6 drummers on it. And then it pans around and then you get that wall of speakers and the Duff Warrior's there with his guitar that's a flamethrower just throwing out power chords. And it's like, that's their little drummer boy. Like the classical armies that had the drummers or the fife players to, I don't know, inspire them as they went into battle. That's a Morton Joe's little drummer boy. This insane truck that's... see, we're talking about this. I'm going to have to sit down and watch Fury Road again tomorrow. It's just... I love that so much.
I've never seen Fury Road all the way through.
You have to come over because not only do I have Fury Road, I have the limited edition pack that has all the movies, and it's got the black and chrome version of Fury Road. Now, when you see Fury Road, because there's all those beautiful colors and whatnot, the idea of a black and white version seems stupid, and you're going to lose all that. But it came from when George Miller said when he was watching the rushes for Mad Max 2, they were these rush prints that were quite high contrast black and white, just so you could see what it looked like. And he sat there going, man, I wish I could release the movie like this. This looks cool. So, yeah, in one of the luxury box sets, besides the color version, there's the black and chrome version. It's a high contrast black and white version. And
because with digital now, you can do anything you want.
Yeah, you just do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that, Abigail. The Duff Wagon, I saw a version of the Duff Wagon at White Night a year or two ago.
You did. And you were quite vociferous with your enjoyment.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we had a little crew, and I'm saying we're going down to Vic Gardens because they've got a Mad Max thing there. And I was going, okay, come on! Look, it's the fucking Duff Wagon! And Abigail points out, in real life, the guitar sounds like shit. Yeah, but it looked cool. That was the whole thing.
It looked great.
Cool. But yes,
in real life,
the
if
video is
I'm
on YouTube, I think.
on a truck playing a guitar, I'll be shitting myself.
Yeah, I just thought that guy, he was on the bungee cords, and he had that freaky bloody latex thing over his face, and it was the whole thing, like, because there was dialogue scripted, but there was no traditional script for Fury Road. It was a visual script. They had rooms with storyboards for every single shot and a visual script for the movie. And for Duff Warrior, it was like, you're going to be on there and doing shit. Are you cool with that? And it's going to shoot flame for real. And the guy's just like, let's fucking go.
Do that. Yeah.
He's got like drone cameras zooming around in front of him, and he's just bouncing off those bungees, firing flames off into the air. It's just like, oh my God.
Hasn't movie making changed since the drone?
Yes, you can get all sorts of magical shots with drones. Because you can put a really high-tech camera on it.
Movie I saw, and I can't remember the fucking name of it now because I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
It's a movie I saw where they paid the US government to borrow low quality film, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing fucking high res, low
Yeah.
quality film from a drone from 85,000 feet up,
Mm-hmm.
and it comes down, 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 down to a house where this guy's drinking a cup of coffee and having a piss in his back veranda. And you see the world, effectively the
Yeah.
curvature of the earth,
Yeah.
and then you come down and you notice America, and then
Yeah.
you notice, I think it was Utah, and this drone's fucking comfortably coming down through the opening credits, and then there he is, taking a piss and drinking a coffee at the same time. And I cannot for the life of me remember the name of the movie. But in the making of, at the end of the DVD, which I, like you, always watch.
Oh, I love making ofs. Yes.
They said, they paid the US Air Force to let them borrow a drone for a scene. And the US Air Force said, you get 3 takes.
Yeah.
And they went, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I did see a
Because
YouTube
they were
video.
expecting to get told to fuck off.
Yeah,
And
you
the
get what you get.
Air Force said, yep, you get 3 takes. And they went,
Yeah.
we will take those 3 takes.
Yeah.
And it was scary because they said, oh, you can come from 85,000 feet up, no more. And they said, oh, that's as high as the drones go. And the Air Force apparently went, no comment.
Yes, that's one of those no comment things. I did see a fun video someone put on YouTube where they attached the camera, I think it's just like a GoPro, to a weather balloon. And it's like, just let it go, let it keep going up. And because a little bit of science again, as you get higher in the atmosphere, there's less air pressure and the hot air balloon starts to expand and it bursts at a certain point because there's not enough air pressure to hold it together. And then the camera plummets to Earth. So they built a frame that they thought would save the camera landing at terminal velocity. And the camera had a GPS in it. So they hoped to track it, although it was a real dice roll. You had no idea where it would. And apparently it was like 3 states away from where they launched it when it landed. But yeah, it plummets back to Earth and smashes into the ground. And I don't think the camera was still working, but the memory card was fine. But it was like this huge lottery. They sent this weather balloon up to the upper atmosphere. And then it just came to Earth, and because there was a GPS in it, which could have broken when it came down, but apparently didn't. There were 1,000 things that could have gone wrong, and
I actually have seen
recover
that, and I saw the doco of them going to get it. They get in a plane, they go as close as they can. Out of the back of this bush plane comes 3 skidoos. And the pilot's going, oh, and they're sitting on these skidoos in the fucking plane, right?
Parachute.
Fucking the back just goes boom down. He says, oh, I haven't done that for a while. I didn't know if it was going to work. And they're all going, good. So the skidoos come out and they go, well, it's off that way. And one of the guys is local, so they know trails. And they go, oh, we're not going to find it tonight. And there's sunlight everywhere, and they're going, okay. And it says, it's going to get dark soon. We better get back to Camp 1, which they set up. And one guy fucked around setting up Camp 1. And they just make it back. And there's film of it getting so dark that one guy lights a match and it blows out their camera.
Yeah.
I'll be back in a minute.
Alrighty. So, I'm thinking that's as good a segue into any. I don't know if anyone does want to join Angry Bunch tonight, but that's the link for anyone who wants to join across El Verioso platforms. And You can join and have a chat if you feel so disposed. Maybe I think I need to have a simpler drink with that rum to try and get a sense of its flavor. And there's a Royal Bermuda Yacht Club that's just 2 ounces of aged rum, lime juice, Cointreau, a teaspoon of Cointreau, which seems fucking pointless, and a tiny. Yeah, I'm going to do that. That's borderline a rum old fashioned. Actually, maybe I'll tone it all down. Less lime juice. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm just going to fucking do that. Because I'm a wild and crazy man and I can do what I want. Like, say hello to Foxa Faye. How you doing,
Hey, Fox,
buddy?
how you going? I'll
Pretty
be
good.
back because I'm eating on the grum.
All right.
Hey,
So
Fox, how you going? I'm eating on the grum. I'll be back in a minute.
all right, buddy.
Hey, Angry. Hey, Fox. How are we?
Good, man. How's it all going?
Oh, couldn't be better, my darling. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm, larger than life and twice as ugly. So, it's all right.
All right. Okay. So Fox is showing us the new. Oh, so it's like an undercut / mohawk wannabe type thing.
Oh, nice. Liking it.
But still rocking the ponytail because the ponytail really suits you, Fox.
Yeah. See, I don't know what to do with my hair because it's the longest it's been in decades, and it acts a bit fun. Like all I do is brush it back.
Mohawk.
You mohawk. Okay, yeah, good. But it's long enough now that it's curly at the back, so
Yeah.
I could keep growing.
Yeah,
it.
Mohawk.
I just got the sides and the part of the back shaved a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm at that really annoying stage of regrowing the beard where the chin is always really itchy.
Ooh, yes. I think AD's remembering when we were at uni, I actually did do like a mullet mohawk at one point where I grew my hair quite much longer than it is now, much longer, and then when I finally
Much longer.
yeah, it was like down to the middle of my back basically, and I and then I shaved the sides and cut it short on top, so it was basically a mullet mohawk. And we also have plain and simple
Hello.
Abigail this evening.
Hello.
Abigail was anything but
I'm
plain and
good.
simple.
What makes you plain and
Yeah.
simple as opposed to any other time?
Because I'm not a spy.
No, good.
It's a Star
okay.
Trek reference. Come on.
I do get that reference. I do.
AZ got it. AZ got it.
Yeah, I get the
See the
reference.
smile,
I get
he
the
got
reference.
it.
Unfortunately, I haven't watched Star Trek in a while, so I don't get the reference.
Oh, I love
I've been doing a deep.
Sorry, Abigail. I love the Japanese version of the Two Angry Ladies versus Cat meme in the background there.
It's great. I put that there for my son to laugh at. Yeah.
Nice.
Weird flex, but okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I just printed it out from the internet, from Reddit. But yeah, it's great. I'm gonna put up on the wall. It's so good.
Yeah, like that's something that I would actually have framed to just put up just for the sheer conversational part of it.
Yeah,
It's good.
so good.
Is that
Yeah.
a Hokusai?
Sorry,
Is that a Hokusai?
it's not an original.
No, I'm aware of that
It's-
because you don't have the GNP of a small African country.
I
Oh,
don't.
or
I
you're not
I
friends with
don't
the
remember who
Emperor of
made it.
Japan. Therefore, it's not a real Hokusai. But it is a
But it's-
print of a Hokusai.
It's
You know,
a
Hokusai
reproduction
were-
of the meme in the style of.
Yep.
Oh, there you go.
Hokusais were literally comic book style things that were mass printed, right? They were common
Yeah.
as dirt. But now, because time has rolled on, if you can get an original printing of a Hokusai print,
Yeah.
because with some of these things, there's only 5 in existence in the world. There's only 2, 3 in existence in the world. They're worth billions of dollars. And
Okay.
the Japanese will try and outbid the Americans to keep them in Japan. because they're national treasures, and the Americans go, they're fucking original oxides, and they should be in the Chicago Museum of We're Fucking Rich. And so you get these
Hi, Nettie.
auction houses where they're going, so that's 14
Hi,
million.
Natty.
and
Yes.
15
So I
million,
just want to
and-
say Helly and hello to Kirsten and hi Annette as
hi,
well.
Kirsten.
Yes.
Hey,
Kirsten, we
yeah,
need to
Kirsten,
talk
hi, Nat.
pressure cooker if we can. I'll hit you up on the Facebooks, but
On the Facebook.
yeah, I want to on Bookface. Actually,
Just
also-
turn my microphone off while I shake to not drown everything out.
Also,
Very
hello
nice of you.
to Wrestling Days, Queen, and Nettie. Hi, guys.
Hello, hello, hello.
Did you
Alright.
notice my tinkly wave then?
So,
Not
before I
my-
came in here, I should have refilled, but I didn't. So I'm going to go get myself an iced tea. I'll be right back.
Good on you,
Nice,
fella. That's
Hurry
what I
back.
did. But I
So
was
yes,
urinated, so what are you going to do?
Eddie, recognize this. I'm already using my cocktail skewer I bought today, and the
right
rum
here.
I bought today. So
So that do you buy new bottles of stuff every time we do a live-ish stream?
no, I'm just kind of obsessive. Sometimes I'll see something and go, I want that. I worked out I've bought this year, I have bought, counting some little sample bottles, I've bought an average of 7 or 8 bottles a month this year. And
Don't count the samples.
well, if you count, the samples are less than a third the size of a full bottle.
Yeah,
And so I've
yeah,
often
that's
bought
tiny.
packs
That's
of
tiny.
packs of 3, and they're like less than a normal bottle. But so that probably brings the average more like 7 than 8. And then I empty 1 or 2 a month. So the collection basically has doubled this year because I've bought lots and haven't emptied all that many. So the collection now is much bigger than it was at the start of the year. At least 50% bigger.
So, have you got a cabinet, or are you
No,
using
it's the
traditional
drinks
property
cart.
fridge?
It's the drinks cart.
Yuck! It's bigger than when I seen it last.
Yeah. 2 drinks
That's what she
carts.
said.
Very, 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 very full drinks carts.
Okay.
So
Okay. I see. The thing is, in this situation, I don't get to judge anyone anything. I see a junkies booting up, and I go, "That's the thing."
yeah, that's the thing.
You know, I see junkies booting up into the end of their penis, and I go, "As you do."
Yes.
I see
and-
junkies booting up into their eye, and go, "As you must." And
Bridge
I see
too far?
prostitutes booting up into their tongue, under their tongue.
Tongue's better than eye. Eye
I
is
would have
scary.
said. And
Yeah.
apparently, it's brilliant because it works like a charm, and there is 0 track marks. So when the cops
Yes.
pull you over and go, "Oh, you're a dirty, filthy, whatever," you go, "I'm sorry, officer. I was
Yeah.
just on my way back from work."
Yeah. And I also just want to do a round of applause. Kirsten pointing out earlier in the year when the stream started, I had very little to no Australian content in my collection, and I buy a shit ton of Australian. In fact, probably at least half of what I've bought during lockdown has been Australian. So I've gone from having virtually no Australian content in those drink carts to what I've bought this year. I think
Gotta
it would
be
be close
2/3
to
now.
half. I could get because I've kept a record. That's okay. I'm gonna not now, but at some point, if I remember, I'm gonna go check my booze spreadsheet and work out what percentage of what I've bought this year is Australian.
Hang
I
on,
wanted to keep
hang on.
Yeah.
What's on your booze spreadsheet?
everything I've bought since like February this year. The idea just occurred to me. I should actually keep track of how much I buy and how long it takes me to empty it, because I want to actually understand that. So since about February, I've been recording the date I buy stuff and the date I empty a bottle. So
if you go to your doctors and they say, "Do you drink?" You can go, "Well, if you look here."
I drink more than a doctor wants me to drink. But
fucking everyone does, mate. I drink more than a doctor wants me to drink, and I drink twice a fucking year.
Yeah.
Near Christmas, when you saw me empty that bottle of Tokay, it wasn't
Yeah.
Tokay, it was Muscat. That was the first time you'd seen me had a drink in, must have been 6 months. Must have been more.
Yeah.
Because the last
Sorry,
time I had a drink was with you and I had a beer.
Yeah. I just noticed Annette say she's going to join the live stream when she's made a drink and put on a bra, to which I say, boo.
You don't need to for us.
Bras are optional.
I'm thinking of taking mine off, like
I mean,
getting comfortable.
like I said,
that
bras are
does
optional.
not. That is something to be encouraged. That is something
Yes.
to be welcomed, and that is something that
Considering I might not be able to do it tomorrow. Oh, actually, it's Thursday night is New Year's Eve, isn't it?
Thursday night is New Year's Eve, yes.
Are we doing a
Yeah.
show New Year's Eve?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yes.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be at home. Abigail's going to come over. It's on.
And I guess I can't take my bra off there either.
No one said that yet.
I don't know how Mrs. Angry will take that.
You
to
can
be
have
honest.
you can have a conversation when you get here. I'm not going to preempt anything.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh,
I can't see
Hello.
Mrs. Angry getting too pissed at that.
Yeah. So
That's just
Oh,
me, though.
see ya.
I don't know. I
I think
don't know. I just
another stream. I think I'll make a rum old fashioned with this just to really try it. And it's saying it's only a little bra. Make it earn a living, Annette. That's what I'm saying. Make it earn a living.
damn
This is right.
great.
Sorry, now I'm just thinking of, oh, God. Does anyone, it's like that urban legend people say, if I mention something out loud around my phone, then I start seeing ads for it on Facebook, which I was, that's just bias confirmation.
Confirmation bias.
Confirmation bias, thank you. Rum talking.
Science picking fuckers.
Yeah,
Fucking
and-
boundary layers, fucking ground effect, what the fuck ever.
Ivy, we've got to have someone to keep us in line.
It fucking
We've-
makes curly fucking wind, and if you fucking sit on the boundary layer, you're sitting on curly wind that's pushing you up into the fucking straight
It's
wind, and you can get dragged
the
along.
ground
But,
effect.
you know, the ground effect.
Boundary layer is a
something the bird is
microscopic
fucking
effect.
interested in because it just goes into land. It's got a spread. It's going flip, flip, flip up. And if the fucking ground effect in a bird is something where you see the feathers go flip, flip, flip up, and they're not doing that when they're fucking on a car. Abigail.
Well, we've got to have AD. We've got to have someone to keep us in line. There'd be
Yes.
no boundaries on us if someone wasn't keeping us in line.
So you
Yeah,
got
imagine like how like scientifically inaccurate this stream would be without without AZ.
Okay, if it was left just to
but
me, there
myself
would be
as well.
No, if it was left just to me, there'd be
And
no
then
scientific accuracy
if it was
at
left
all.
to 80 without Abigail saying, "Yeah, no, mate."
I'm just like editorializing your content.
Minute.
99% of the time, you're spot on. It's just like the little bits here and there.
It's minute. Yeah. But
Yeah.
look, what I was
Grasshopper,
going
have
to
you
say,
had a haircut?
yeah,
Appreciate it.
what I was going
Yeah,
to
sorry,
say
Angry.
about the urban legend. If you say something around your phone, you see ads for it on Facebook, which I've said is just confirmation bias. You were thinking about it, then you see it, and you probably don't realize the extent to which you are searching for it, and website cookies are picking it up because Facebook tracks you when you're not on Facebook.
Yeah.
But Abigail, if you remember a conversation we had today, I went on Facebook when I got home, and there was a promoted thing for a thing called Piss Christ.
Yeah, you got to turn some notifications off on your phone. I managed to do it on mine. I don't get that, but I have heard lots and lots of tales of this. Just out of the blue, you had one conversation and bang, there are the targeted ads.
I use Siri all the time because I can't fucking write. And
That
I
will
use
do
Siri
it.
on my
Yeah.
iPad all the time because I can't fucking write. And those crazy cats at Apple talk to those crazy cats at Google all the time.
Oh yeah, you'll get targeted
You
ads.
think there's this fucking major fight between them. Cash has no fight. When myself and my wife broke up, we weren't on any Apples. We were PC people. When we broke up, we told nobody. We told nobody that we'd split up for about 2-3 weeks, right? Within the fucking week, I was getting on my Google. Hey, Catherine, gorgeous thing.
Haven't seen your news, Catherine.
Within the week, I was getting fucking, are you lonely? We've got
this
40s
audio
in your
sucks.
suburb that are looking for roots. And I'm going, what? And my ex told me
Hello.
I was getting
Let me
ads
check
for
something.
guys who were
Hi.
lonely and in their 40s
Hello.
within 4 days. So I went, same. Fucking same.
Yeah. Well,
The
I get
algorithms they use and the patterns of your life that they use are so fucking powerful. They know that what the fuck you're doing. There's this great story that's true.
I think I finally managed to break the
who was
oh,
being,
geez, it's all screwy at your end,
pushed
Catherine.
baby products on her advertising, and one of them said, now you're pregnant, you've got to think about this. It was a PSA combined with, it was one of those sponsored PSAs, okay? And her father lost his fucking mind and went to, I think it was Google, and said, how dare you fucking push this stuff on my virginal daughter. Sure enough, she was up the stick. And sure enough,
I've
heard that.
I think I finally
just
managed to
because
break
of the patterns of her life. She hasn't told anyone. It was just what she was buying. It was where she was going.
And that was a long time ago as well.
And of course, everybody uses card. Everybody uses car, and everybody's got GPS, so they know fucking almost everything about you. And you put the right algorithms together, and the fucking deep learning comes together, and it's not even fucking special. It's
I think I managed to actually break the
huge
algorithm.
databases of what advertisers want to know. And if you're clever enough, you go, well, if I put this next to this and pivot table that, then I can see this. It's like a massive fucking Sudoku of your life. And they can fill in the numbers faster than you can say, can I have a flashlight? And
yeah, look, any service that is free is not. Any service that is free, you are the product. There is nothing free in this world.
Totally.
I think I finally managed to break the algorithms on the Facebook targeted advertising and whatnot, because I've made sure that Facebook can't follow my activity when I'm not logged into Facebook and all of that sort of stuff. And every time that it would come up with any form of advertisement, just keep on clicking on it and clicking on irrelevant. And after time now the only two services that it seems to try and market me is either erectile dysfunction pills, got no issues there,
Yeah.
Oh,
or
don't we know?
people that can build my PC for me.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. I have a plugin installed. I have an extension installed that just hides all ads on Facebook. I don't see any ads at all.
Mm.
Wow.
I like
It's
the
called
booze ads I get on
FB
Facebook.
Purity. It's called.
Sorry, no offense, but can Catherine, could you mute yourself
Catherine,
until you
yeah.
need to talk, darling? Because that's echoing really bad.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. You need a headset or something.
Yeah.
Because
Thank you, darling.
it's looping back.
ever since I bought like the gayest shirts ever from a Facebook ad, I get a lot of clothing ads, and they're getting increasingly flamboyant and increasingly gay, which, you know, provides me with a lot of entertainment during the day. Like these caftan ads of these guys, and they are the textbook definition of bears, like huge, hairy guys with caftans, and they're sitting there with legs spread and just a little bit of cloth over their crotch going, "You want to buy these, big boy?" And I'm like, "Yeah, maybe I do."
Okay.
It's all good.
It's
So,
much better, thank you, Catherine.
Oh,
So
you're
I-
welcome.
I get booze ads and increasingly camp and kinky clothing ads on Facebook. So I'm okay, basically, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I've heard stories of guys apparently getting outed to their families because Google and Facebook were able to figure out that they were gay through their search history and all of that sort of stuff. And the
Oh,
mum or
no.
dad or the brother or the sister or whatever go to use the computer to come up with, lonely men in your area type ads and whatnot. And apparently these kids were getting out.
But they don't go that far with my Facebook ads, but the clothing, actually, some of the clothing is for women, which I find interesting. But the clothing is clearly super gay. Which is, yeah. So, and it's funny. It's like not said as an insult. It's just clothing that wouldn't exist without gay subculture and gay designers, basically. I'll have to wear some of it on the stream, actually, because I got
I'd love
some
to see
absolutely awesome shirts.
I'd love to see them. I reckon you'd look fantastic.
Oh no, they're great. The shirts are fucking great. I love them. Okay. And here's the weird thing. I don't know if anyone remembers me talking about, besides getting these really fun shirts, did order a caftan. And when you move stuff, Catherine, by the way, when you move stuff, it makes an absolutely terrible noise. So I'm just throwing that out there. It's like someone
Yeah,
dragging their...
you sound like a robot.
Okay, well, it sounds like someone dragging their fingernails across a microphone when you move stuff. So
Yeah, the hard tabletop with the hard things that you're moving are causing a lot of reverb to come through your microphone straight into our ears and possibly the ears of everybody watching on YouTube at the moment.
All right, I'm leaving. I can't work without.
We're very sorry about that, Catherine. We'd love to have you around, but we need to be able to hear each other, darling.
Yeah.
So yes.
It's a
Well,
shame.
So I got all these really flamboyant shirts, and I got the caftan, and I bought them all in the same size, and the shirts are all in the right size, but the caftan's too small for some fucking reason. Hi, Nettie.
Hey, Nettie.
Hi, Nettie.
How you doing, beautiful lady?
I'm good. We all went to lunch and hit Dan Murphy's in the Vittles lab.
Had the
I'm jealous
actual
of you guys,
human
maybe.
interaction.
Hugs even.
Yeah. And that was
Hugs.
like 6 months since I've done that. 6 months without human interaction from people outside of my house.
I miss
Very
hugs.
weird.
Same.
I miss hugs big time.
Well, we're having a YouTube meetup late January, and the whole YouTube crew in Melbourne are sort of mad huggers and whatnot. And on one, assuming we still don't have any cases prior to then, I know on one level I should be being responsible and saying you're not meant to hug. It actually won't be possible to stop people, basically. So if
What's
we don't have
happened to Abigail?
Oh,
my cat has sitting
My
on
head
her-
has been replaced with a cat.
Kind of looks it. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
cat's the cat's sort of the cat's looking very comfortable, and I don't think you're allowed
Oh,
to move
this
the
is
rest
her
of the night now.
favorite spot to sit. And as much as I like pussy
move,
right
cat.
here, it's got claws, and yeah,
So does pussy have claws? I've read the Catholic manuals.
Yeah. Vagina dentata. That's what we're talking about.
there's a movie about that. It's called Teeth.
There are a couple movies about
It's
that.
it's the accidentally most hilarious movie I haven't seen yet.
There's an old anime, Legend of the Overfiend from the 90s.
Yes.
Oh, I've heard of
There's
that.
a demon lady and there's a great vagina dentata scene, which is absolutely
Oh,
hilarious.
There was that.
I have to-
I
They
don't
were going
remember
around for
that.
ages
I
of
remember
a-
the tentacles of penises exploding ladies. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Hi.
No,
the one that I always. Oh, Daddy's
Go
daughter.
away. You're not to listen to this.
Parental advisory warning.
The one that I always remember was the Japanese lady in another Japanese guy, and they're about to get into a fight, and she opens her legs, and all of a sudden bubbles start coming out everywhere, and the Japanese guy gets swallowed up by bubbles. Like it was a real life adaptation of some type of book or something like that. It was absolutely hilarious.
there was a bit in Legend of the Overfiend where the demon lady turned into a spider type thing and then spread her legs, and it's like teeth going nyah, 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 nyah.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll make up for the octopus
Yeah.
tentacle penises thing.
Was it? Do you remember, Ainsy, when we made that video? Because we found a story that the guy who basically invented tentacle porn thought it was not anime so much as the comics. Hentai was going too far because it was with these very young looking characters. And he was saying, no, I think you've gone a bit far. That's a bit fucked up. And we're saying, like, for real, guys, we're all about freedom of expression. But if the inventor of tentacle porn says you've gone too far, it's time to take a good look at yourself.
You really got to take a step back.
There was a thing
Really?
going around for a while where people were
Got a
really
thing.
enjoying getting people to try and watch Boku no Piku on the internet there at some point, and it was just to see exactly how bad people would freak out.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I was
And
the
then
victim
what
of
you do
that.
is get him to see Boku no Pico no Chico.
Oh
That
God!
will
Okay,
blow their
there's another
fucking
one.
mind.
Yeah, no, a friend of mine sent me a link saying, "Oh, you got to watch this anime. It's absolutely spectacular. It's only goes for like half an hour or whatever." And I completely fell for it, hook, line, and sinker, and started watching it and kind of going, "Okay, it's cutesy. I'm not a big fan of cutesy anime, and what the fuck?" and shut it off.
Yeah.
Like, Yeah, that
and then
was.
it just keeps on spiraling upwards, and you just go, they can't get worse. And
Yes,
it
they can. Yes, they can.
And it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
And
I
then
sent him a
finally,
letter
the
saying if I
final
get
scene is just, you
I sent
are
him a
fucking shitting me. How the hell did this get fucking...
I sent him a reply and said that if I got arrested, he was paying my fucking bail.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of your browser history.
Yeah.
I had this project going in 2005 to 7, 8. No, 2005 to 7. And what I was looking for was Masamune Shiro's real name. And he's the guy who did Ghost in the Shell. He did Appleseed. He did a few others. He's a genius, basically.
Yeah.
And a lot of anime and manga artists start out in their apprenticeship as porn artists, especially Shota and Lolicon. And I was going, righto, what I'll do is I'll look at this stuff and see if I can pick style. And I'd go through and go, no, that's not it. And then I'd go through and go, oh, maybe. And then I'd research it a bit more and then find out, no, it's years later. What they've actually done is copied Shiro Masamune. And I'd have to start again. And then the laws came in and said a depiction of a character that's a child, even if it's a drawing, is illegal. And my mate said, "Oh, what are you going to do?" And I said, "Well, I kind of like it, but I don't like it that fucking much." And fucking erased all my research. And then I found out that some fucking prick from Tokyo University found some fucking copyright forms with his fucking name on. Fuck you. Do some research, you asshole. Don't just fucking go on the Google net search. Fucking dick. Anyway, so
Yeah.
this individual didn't have to go and wade through it. But I learned some amazing stuff. One of the things I learned, especially about Yowie, was that all of those characters are in fact adults. And as you get
That's
into the
their
middle
defense,
of
yeah.
the Yowie, they look younger and younger and younger and younger. And then as you come out of the other end of the Yowie, they grow sort of back to adult size again. And you go, why did they fucking look like children in the middle of this? And it's a Shinto thing where they say that you lose your adult form inhibitions and masks and go into your more pure primal or and the way they discuss primal is childlike form. So you're not supposed to see them as children, you're supposed to see them as adults losing their masks. And I'm going, oh, all right, I can forget that. But every time a court case comes up, they don't show the whole fucking manga. They only show fucking 2 or 3 pictures and you're fucked. And the other thing about tentacle porn, and what used to really amaze me was first few examples of tentacle porn was, okay, so you got girl in the locker room and she's getting changed, and then the tentacle beast grabs her, and it's all very tentacle. And then the tentacle beast goes away and she's red-faced and she gets changed again and leaves and goes to class. And it's like, wouldn't you be going to hospital? And what that's about is about imagination of the girl having wicked thoughts about sex and sexuality. And the tentacles are supposed to be her losing her inhibitions in her own mind about what's going on. And I thought, okay, fair enough if you're in Japan and understand cultural references, fair enough. But in Australia, that's a hard fucking sell.
Yeah. Also, there was a legal thing in Japan where you couldn't show penis in vagina sex, so they invented the tentacle stuff because, well, that's not a penis, and that's also why there's so much. That's why there's so much demon porn in manga and whatnot, because they're like, oh, but that's not people, so therefore it's legal.
It's not people. And you can show a penis, but not an erect penis in entirety. So what they'll do is they'll put one black line through the glands of it, like a black line through the glands of it. And it's like, oh, no, we've covered it up. It's like, no, you didn't.
Isn't there the whole thing
I
about
remember.
You're not allowed to show any pubic hair whatsoever.
Wasn't that
That was
because
the
the whole
fun thing.
Isn't that why they pixelate everything in terms of Japanese porn?
Yes.
Is so that way they don't show like an actual erect penis or something along those lines, that it gets
That's
past
in
the
live
censorship.
action porn.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, Annette. I just forgot, Annette, you were going to say something.
Yeah, I remember, you know, that sell everything that's been banned shop that used to be on Brunswick Street, Poly something, polyester. And they, I remember going in there, I went in there a lot once upon a time. And it was the best place to find anything by William S. Burroughs and Hunter Thompson. And so, yeah, I remember finding fairy and bug porn manga.
Yes.
So
Fairy in what?
yes.
Yeah. I saw
Fairy in what?
Fairies
Bug.
having sex with bugs.
Bugs. Right. Okay.
There was what was that one called? Because I saw that one. It had a really bondage fairies. It was called bondage fairies.
Bondage fairies.
Because the fairies were
Bondage
wearing
fairies
leather
was fucked up.
harness gear, and they were having sex
Highly
with animals and bugs. Because, well,
Bugs.
technically, they're not breaking the law because that's not a human penis and a human
Yeah.
vagina. It's a
'Cause I
fairy.
was wondering where
having
that was
sex
coming
with
from.
bugs.
Like, whose
Yeah.
fetish is this? This is
No.
new.
Yeah,
At the
it was
time.
to get around the law. Yeah, it was to get
I
around the law.
once saw-
Ah,
I'm not even
Makes
sure
sense
if I
now.
should describe this, but I once saw a custom frame of a manga, which showed a trio of fat-bottomed, furry, sort of dog-cat women who had just crapped out large fecal matter that was so huge that it had intestine dents in the fecal matter, and a guy in the corner masturbating furiously. And I've looked at this and gone, I will probably never get a hard on again.
It's also why Bukkake exists. For anyone who's ever
Yes.
wondered why the fuck does Bukkake exist, because
I'm curious about
there's
that.
no penetration. There's no penetration in
There's
Bukkake.
no penetration in Bukkake.
There you go.
Um,
No, I found this thing that I just had to steal and post on my Facebook, and I just love it. It's funny. And it just says, aliens invade. Earthlings, we have killed your leaders, destroyed your economy, and are here to take over your government. Humans, oh, thank fucking God. Aliens, wait, what?
Yeah.
yeah.
The other one I've seen likely
Right.
recently with aliens that I like is two like typical grey aliens. Their flying saucers landed and they're in front of, it's like, Christ being crucified or someone being crucified. And one alien says to the other, you know what we need to do now? We need to get the fuck out of here. That's what we need to do. It's just like they've landed on this planet and go, what the fuck are these people doing?
It's,
Speaking of Facebook posts, I just wanted to say, Nettie, I saw your post with your new penguin shaker, and it looks so cool. Definitely
I
looks
can't believe
cool.
it was on sale.
Yeah,
I think it was on sale.
These were on sale when I bought them. We had a whole ethical conversation about tiki today,
Yeah.
and I actually have a couple tiki goblets, basically because they were on sale. So
Yeah.
No, it's a little
See, I
cartoon
love
one.
the tiki because some of my best memories of being a child was going to Fiji for holidays, and in the
I'll be back in a sec.
in the gardens of all
Yeah.
the places that we went to, there were these large black tikis. I don't know what they're made out of. It's a very weird wood.
yeah,
And so every time I see tiki glasses and stuff, I'm reminded of that, especially if they, if they're black and they actually resemble them. And so
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'd like that. Oh, that's right, they're shit. Can't do
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
and that's why I got a promoted thing on Facebook that referenced some weird animation that's trying to be offensive called Piss Christ, or I don't know, because we were having a conversation.
You're kidding.
No, after when I was with Nettie and Abigail today, we were talking about tiki and how having that whole Pacific influence, the tropical influence, can be good, but a lot of the imagery they use is quite serious cultural and religious imagery, and they use it ignorantly in a way that's actually quite offensive. But if you understand what you're doing, it doesn't have to. And also, if you want to be offensive, I suppose that's okay. And I just said as a joke, like the equivalent is, I'm going to start a bar and it's going to be called Piss Christ. And it's going to have reproductions of that controversial thing of an upside down crucifix in a jar of piss. And then I'll be really surprised when Christians get upset. And it's like, if you get surprised that Christians are upset by that, you're an idiot. And if you get surprised that Polynesian people are upset about the tiki appropriation, you're an idiot. But if you do either of those things, saying, I know this is going to piss people off and I don't give a shit because I hate them and I hope they're pissed off, then, well, you're a prick, but at least you're consciously a prick.
At least you're
And we
honest
had this
about
conversation, and I referenced Piss Christ. And then when I got home, there was this promoted thing on Facebook for a weird animation called Piss Christ. And I thought, okay, I never believed those stories, but now I suspect. Because that was weird. That
Bloody
was
hell.
very, very, very weird. So
No, it's like the people who wear the swastika saying that they don't wear it because they're a Nazi. They wear it because they believe in the original use of it being some sort of Tibetan good luck charm or some type of BS
Yeah.
like
Well,
No,
you can
tell who that is.
when it's actually
Idiots.
the other way around. When it's actually
Yes.
when you see the swastika and it's actually
Yeah, Hitler reversed it.
reversed.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's actually the Tibetan Indian
Yeah.
good luck, and you also tend to see
Uh,
dots
The good luck
in the
one,
middle.
The dots,
the-
yeah.
yeah, the good luck
The dots are a
one,
big
which is
giveaway
also
as well.
used on temples, actually has a different
Yeah.
name as well.
Ah,
I've seen it on incense. I was like at a hippie market and they were selling incense, and the incense had swastikas on because it was the original meaning of the swastika. But you can tell when someone says, I'm not doing it, you can tell just from who the
Yeah.
person is, if they're talking
Yeah.
shit or not.
that. Oh yeah, without a doubt, yeah.
You know, if
I
they've
remember-
got an Om 3D and a yin yang and a swastika with dots on, you go, one of these
So-
kids is not playing the
Yeah.
same game. One of these
Yeah.
kids is not playing the same. And it's always the black kid. I'm just pointing out it's always the black kid. It's not playing
Okay.
the same thing. Right?
All right, there was-
So Sesame Street teaches you young.
Yeah.
Don't trust him.
There was a book published in the 80s called Modern Primitives from this weird art collective type stuff. And it was tracing the history of tattoos, piercings, body mods. And this shit was not, now this shit's all trendy. It's virtually mainstream. In the 80s, it was absolutely fringe. It was very weird out
Yeah.
there shit. And of the various people in the book who were interviewed and tried, there's one guy who had actually legally changed his name to Swastika because he was trying to reclaim, and he had dozens of swastika tattoos on his body, and it's because he was in a failed attempt to reclaim it from the Nazis, and it's just like, oh, good on you, buddy. It's not going to work. It is not going to work.
yeah.
My other favorite was a guy, I used to remember his name, but he was, and because he started doing stuff that even today would be regarded as extreme, and he started doing it in the 50s and 60s. He was wearing corsets that contracted his midsection
I remember that guy.
spine. He was doing piercings and whatnot, and he was just stuff through his nose, through his ears. And so this guy, he was not even a boomer. He was the generation before the boomers. And he was doing this mad shit. Fakir, his taken name was Fakir, Fakir.
Yeah. I remember him now. Yeah.
Like the person writing the thing said, like, oh, you know, we had lunch to meet and talk, and he sat down and he picked up some of the cutlery, like some knives, and he put them through these permanent holes he had through his collarbone, and he slid them between there and there, and he's gone, that feels more comfortable. And the person's going, Jesus Christ. And he's the type who suspends himself from a hook.
Suspension guy.
God, he was a madman. Kirsten came back at a weird bit. Yeah, she came back at a weird bit, Kirsten. And Jimmy Jam's like, yeah, we're talking about the Hindu swastika. Safa, the Russian criminal tattoo thing. I thought there was a film with Viggo Mortensen, who's most famous for being in Lord of the Rings, but it's, what's it called?
Viggo!
Comedy,
Hello.
where he's trying to infiltrate a Russian gang. And criminals not only have tattoos, but the tattoos are telling the story of their life. And if you're in the clan, you know by looking at someone what the whole story is of these tattoos. And it's not necessarily a brilliant film, but it's an interesting film. Like, it's from not long after The Lord of the Rings, so it's a 20-year-old
That
film.
sort of thing. Yeah, that's the sort of thing that got me into anthropology. Well,
Yeah.
I didn't even know what anthropology was when I signed up for it at uni. My friend just goes, sign up for this, because it was a filler one, like, oh, I need another subject. You'll love anthropology. Just do that. I ended up majoring in that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. But if you haven't
does
seen
like
it,
that sometimes, doesn't it?
old Viggo Mortensen film called Eastern Promises is very interesting because it really delves into that whole Russian criminal syndicate stuff and the tattoos. And it's quite
That sounds familiar. I think my friend Richard in Sydney probably saw it because I remember him going through a phase of posting about tattoo signage and how to interpret them. Yeah.
Safa,
Well,
I'd be
it's,
interested if you saw it, Eastern Promises, but with your family background, if any of it seemed familiar, because it's a pretty trippy film.
When I was in hospital getting my scrotum cut off, there was a guy come in. There was all these police around, and I was thinking, Jesus, I just got my scrotum cut off. Give me a fucking break. And all these police were around guarding one guy, and what had happened was he'd been thrown out of a gang in prison, and as a result, he'd had his membership tattoo removed with an angle grinder.
Oh, fuck that.
And so it had 2 flashes on his arms and 3 on his back, ground off by an angle grinder. And they basically had to find places on his body to put skin grafts back on him. And
that's traumatic.
Sadly, the guy died when one of the grafts got septic and he didn't make it.
You get infections from that shit.
And
might have been a mercy to not live with the trauma.
Oh no, they had him on so many fucking drugs. He was fucking laughing all the way and joking with the cops and joking with the nurses. And the nurses had a lot of fun with him because he was very pleasant and joking all the way and having jokes with the cops, because, you're supposed to be this tough criminal. You don't fucking talk to cops. But he was fucking off his guts the whole time. And he had to be because he had large sections of skin and a fair amount of muscle fucking ground off. And
I lived next door to a guy.
But I was kind of long term, so I found out a lot of shit about a lot of people. And one of the nurses was just going, I was going, what are these fucking cops doing around there? They're guarding this guy. Where's he going to go? He's in the fucking plastics ward. Well, they ground off his tattoos with an angle grinder, and I've gone,
yeah.
What are you doing?
I lived next door to a guy who got kicked out of the Rebels for fucking up an armed robbery.
Ooh.
Yeah. He was a dummy. He was really dumb.
If you get kicked out of a bike gang for being too dumb, you're pretty dumb.
You're in trouble. You're in a lot of fucking trouble.
He came over
This is
to our
really
house.
widely insulting bikers on the assumption that none of them will ever see this stream. If any of them see this stream,
when the
said
bikers
with
come
love,
around
brother.
these days and threaten you, they bring accountants and lawyers because all this shit is trademarked, and if you defame them, they take you to court for defamation and get more fucking money out of you that way than they ever would breaking your fucking legs. It's the weirdest fucking thing.
Sure.
But
hi, nobody. By the way, hi, nobody.
Hey, nobody.
Hi, nobody.
That old gang tattoo thing. There's a really trippy American crime series called Banshee. The lead guy is actually Australian or New Zealander.
He's a Kiwi. One of my favorite all-time series.
Yeah.
Love Banshee.
And he's also the lead in The Boys, which is a Amazon Prime series. But Banshee is this really twisted sort of dark Southern crime thing. And at one bit, there's a guy who wants to redeem himself who was in a Nazi gang, and he actually joins the local sheriff's office. And they remove his core tattoo with a blowtorch. But that's at the end of a season. And when I saw that was like, contract negotiation time. And it's like, dude, don't ask for more money, or we'll just say you died in the off season. And he came back, so they must have had a successful contract negotiation. But I'm not joking. When I saw that, where that it finishes with you don't realize, but they've gone after him with a blowtorch. It's like, contract renegotiation time. If you ask for more money, they're going to fire you and say you died in the off season.
Well, I used to do that in CSI.
My favorite part about Banshee is the guy that becomes like the main crime lord, crime boss, big bad guy of Banshee is an ex-Amish guy. I just love that dynamic. That's
a fun plot twist, that there's an Amish community there, and a guy who's an outcast from the Amish becomes like the crime kingpin in this county. There's some very interesting and twisted storylines in that show.
Go hard or go home to Amish land.
Yeah, pretty much.
Banshee, if anybody's going to watch it, be aware that it is very confronting with its it can be very confronting with its violence and very confronting with its sex scenes, but it is really good. It is still a really
Banshee
subtle show.
Do you know what a Banshee is, guys? You know, like
Irish spirit.
Yeah, no, it's not just an Irish spirit. It's
a screamer spirit, as it were.
It screams when a relative of a particular clan, I think it might be actually my clan, McEwen, when the clan of the king, of the High King of England, dies.
Yeah.
The Banshee screams, and the only people who can hear it are the family members.
I think another version of Banshee legend is it warns you that someone's going to die by screaming. And Terry Pratchett used that brilliantly in one of his books. There was an agoraphobic and shy Banshee that would slide a note under people's doors, and when they picked it up, it was written out, "Woo!"
That's a very Terry Pratchett thing to do.
He was adorable, that guy.
One year for my wife's birthday. Sorry, Eddie. 1 year for my wife's birthday.
Business to do with a person, so I must leave you. I
love you. Okay. Love you too, Eddie.
Bye. Tomorrow night.
Yes.
Okay, I shall hope to see.
Yes.
And
okay.
1 year for my wife's birthday, I bought her the entire Terry Pratchett collection, $900 worth of books. And she loaded up her entire bookshelf with them. That was a mistake because I didn't see it for the next 9 months.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. Also, the last
worse reasons to not see it for 9 months.
The last stuff he published was this sci-fi series called the Long Earth series, and it was not sort of camp and whimsical like Discworld, and he co-wrote it with another guy who I think helped him with some of the science stuff, and it's basically people discovered this way to trip between dimensions, like there were an almost infinite number of parallel Earths, and our one was the only one where human society had developed. When you tripped to the other Earths, they were like wild frontiers with no humans on them. Some of them had intelligent or semi-intelligent races on them, but they weren't human and they weren't advanced like modern. And so it's absolutely fascinating, the ideas he explores. What would people do if you could just fuck off, basically? If you could, and it turns out that there are some people who had an innate ability to trip between these dimensions, and one guy worked out a way to build a machine that would do it, and he just like put the plans on the internet, so everyone started making these machines and flipping the switch, and they would just jump to these alternate Earths. And the ideas that they explore within that are absolutely fascinating. And he also, in one of them, he tries to communicate how, like, an evolutionary leap in humans would look. So there are these particular generation, a small number, who are hyper intelligent. Like, they're as far beyond us as we are beyond chimpanzees, but they look like us. And I think he does a really good job of explaining what interaction between people like that and people like us would be. There's like 5 books in the series. And in fact, the last one was published after Terry Pratchett died. So he hadn't finished it when he died. His co-author finished it. But yeah, they're really fascinating because they're really different to Discworld, but they explore a whole bunch of really trippy ideas.
That is very trippy. It sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Safa, to clear it up, that this wasn't during COVID. This was a few years ago that I bought the entire collection.
Well, mind you, buying someone the whole Discworld collection at the start of COVID would be a very nice thing to have done for someone.
Yeah. No, if I hadn't already bought it for her, I probably would have gotten it then to give her something to do. But no, it's I read The Time Thief from Terry Pratchett and I enjoyed it. Especially the Sweeper. He's my favorite character. But I tried to read the other books. People think I'm a Philistine for this, but they didn't grab me. It's not my style. I think that they're brilliant. I love the storytelling and all, like the actual story that they've got to tell. But I love watching the short movies that they've made of it rather than reading the books.
Right. Yeah, I haven't. Yeah, apart from these Long Earth books, I haven't read any of the other stuff that Pratchett wrote. I know he wrote a bunch. Oh no, I tell a lie. I read the one he co-wrote with Neil Gaiman, Good Omens, which is brilliant.
And the series of Good Omens is also really good, mainly because David Tennant. I mean,
the casting in the Good Omens series is very good.
David Tennant is like one of my favorite actors, but it also made watching Jessica Jones really difficult.
Season 1. Oh my god, I could not binge watch that. I couldn't. It was too full on, and watching Tennant was just. I couldn't look at him the same way again.
He played that creepy, rapey, fucking.
Oh my god!
Complete
that
lack
one
of
scene
character.
That one scene in the apartment of the two guys who are a couple. I had to walk away. I had to phone a friend. It was just too much.
What happened? I can't watch it.
It was.
Look, I mean, the other two series of Jessica Jones aren't too bad, but that first one, it was made so good because, and I say this with an honest to God, this is what I believe. The first series of Jessica Jones was so good because David Tennant was so bad as the bad guy. He played a bad guy so good that it was frightening to watch.
Yeah. So was Kirsten saying she first interaction with Pratchett was watching the Amdram theatre show? Oh, an amateur dramatic theatre show. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think a bunch of his stuff has been adapted by people. Yes,
a lot of it. Yeah, no, he's really popular in and amongst the theatre crowds and whatnot. A couple of my friends do amateur theatre, and if you I went out to help them once to pack up after one of their plays because I had the use of a ute at the time. So I was helping them to pack up and pack stuff into the ute and take it where it needed to go. And being not a big Pratchett fan, I was left out of pretty much every conversation.
Yeah. So I just remember one of my favorite, because Safa's saying stuff about movies, miss out stuff from books. The TV series of Good Omens changed some fairly significant things from the books, but did it quite well because Neil Gaiman was on board to do it. But one bit, because there's stuff that's nuanced in books that you can't really put in stuff. I remember the kids gang in the Little Brits, that one of them is unknowingly the Antichrist, and they were just called the them because they were the troublemaking kids in this little village, and but they were so isolated, and you could almost hear, because Pratchett and Gaiman being English, saying like the kids heard about there's a shop in America that has 50 flavors of ice cream, and they're like, what even are they? There's only chocolate and strawberry and vanilla. What else do you have? Like, chocolate and strawberry?
I remember
Because that's what
permanently
I grew up with as well. Neapolitan was
good old
the
Neapolitan.
flashy ice cream, chocolate,
I-
strawberry, and vanilla.
We permanently scarred a friend of ours not long ago. They were reading about the new Stephen King's It movie that had just come out with the kids from like Stranger
Oh,
Things
yeah.
and whatnot.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, all of these people are complaining that it's so different from the books. I swear to God, I want to make a movie of it and follow the book exactly. And I went, well, you'll never get that past the censors and you'll be arrested.
Yeah,
What?
yeah, basically.
How? All of the young kids have a fucking orgy in the book. There's a reason why they leave that part out of the movie.
This just reminds me, I'm quite a fan of the animated series on Netflix, Big Mouth, which is about tween kids hitting puberty and whatnot. And there's always talking about sex and them getting pubes and masturbating and the girls getting periods and whatnot. And I think it was towards the end of season 2. They just put out a new season, which was quite fun. I think it was towards the end of season 2 where the like two of the lead characters talking to each other. One of them says, I think our stories are fantastic. Someone should make a TV show of our stories. And the other one says, they could never do that. It would be child porn. And the other one says, maybe if you animated it, you could get away with it. It's just like, yep. And that's where they do it. They
Almost.
have little animated kids talking about their bodies and sex and whatnot. And it would be very awkward to see actual children. And you can go, oh, no, these are adult actors doing these silly voices. I can deal with it. It's a silly animation.
One of the things that I found kind of frightening is the list that a friend of mine sent me, and it is literally cases in mainstream Hollywood movies where actresses and actors have had nude scenes where they have been well and truly underage, and this has been released in mainstream Hollywood movies, and I'm just like, that is a frightening concept.
It is quite troubling. Brooke Shields actually did a couple. She did one where she was, basically a trafficked child in a brothel. That was called Pretty Baby. And then she did Blue Lagoon when she was still, I think, less than 16. And the two kids who are by themselves on the tropical paradise island end up having sex. And it's just like, you're getting into really dodgy territory.
The only one that I remember was because I love the movie so much and I had no idea, was the movie American Beauty with Kevin Spacey.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
And
Mia
in that scene,
Savino, or whatever her name is.
no, not Mina Savari. No, the girl that actually plays Kevin Spacey's daughter in that movie at one point there, the
Yes.
creepy boyfriend with the camera, she notices that she's being filmed and she takes off a bra and you can see her boobs. Apparently, when she was filming that scene, she was 16 years old.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, that's illegal. That's downright illegal.
You're getting into tenuous areas. And often they do stuff with body doubles and trick photography and whatnot. But you get into well dodgy territory.
It's just fucking creepy. It really creeps me the fuck out. And yeah, I can't watch American Beauty the same. Like, I really loved that movie the first few times that I saw it. Now I can't watch it again because, like, knowing that, I just can't do it.
Yeah. And then you hear stories of directors, producers, and actors being predators and whatnot. And it's just like, oh, no.
And how not surprised I was. I remember reading Eliza Dushku's Me Too reveal, and it was about the producer and director, I think, of True Lies, when she was in that movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
And she was 12 or something.
Yeah, and when she had to like go and read for the part, like it was apparently at his house, and she had to be in a bikini in a pool and all of these sorts of different things. And it's just like, the like the whole Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself, suicide thing, blah blah blah, all of that kind of tiding into, and then you've got the kid from Terminator 2,
Furlong.
Edward Furlong, talking
Yeah.
about the predatory behaviors in Hollywood towards children and whatnot. It's just
Yeah.
very, 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 very creepy.
Oh no, they didn't pick on the Terminator kid,
They
did
pick
they?
on everyone. They
They
really
do
do.
pick on everyone.
I mean, it was even in the book
Yeah.
of The Godfather. Like, it's so, like, everyone in that industry knows what goes on. Like, in the movie, you just get that thing where the movie producer gets the horse's head in his bed to give the actor a role. In the book, he's a pedophile. And so, like, if you read the book, you really don't give a shit that they cut off his horse's head and put it in his bed, because in the book he's a pedophile, and you just and the book, the writer has obviously spent some time in Hollywood and just gone, "You're all sick fucks," and he just puts this whole thing in there of this guy, and I think it was a bit too close to the bone, so they left it out of the movie version. But
I still say one of the best adaptations from book to movies that I've seen is an old school movie, but everybody's heard of it, watched it, whatever. Has got to be the original Interview with the Vampire movie, the one with Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise.
yeah, okay, that's a controversial view. I haven't read any of the books.
Sorry, what did you say?
Interview with a Vampire.
What did you say?
Was one of the best
What about-
adaptations from book to films, in my opinion.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Mm.
I
You know,
don't
Antonio
know,
Banderas
2001.
was great as a vampire, but he was wrong for Anton. I mean,
know that he
whatever his
didn't
name.
look. Yeah, he didn't look the part. I know that. But yeah, no. Abigail was talking 2001: A Space Odyssey. Is that what you're talking about, Abigail?
Yeah.
I haven't
Yeah.
read the book.
Um,
I haven't read the book.
The only difference between the book and the movie is that they go to Saturn instead of Jupiter.
Oh, okay.
And the reason they did that is because Voyager was taking pictures of Jupiter at the time, so they used
Okay.
Jupiter
Okay.
to get the good pictures.
Hang on, just one
And
second.
the rest is spot on.
Hang on.
Okay, but certainly, or I'll wait till Grasshopper comes back. But saying you liked Interview with a
But
Vampire is very controversial. A lot of I haven't read
also,
the book. A lot of fan books hate it. Yeah.
I
Abigail.
still,
I'm going to add to that. Stanley Kubrick, who directed 2001, the movie,
Yeah.
actually had Arthur C. Clarke on set, and he was
Yeah.
writing the novel at the same time. So
I
it
was
was
about to
like
say,
a collaboration.
I
Yeah.
thought they collaborated on the novel. Yeah.
They did, yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
No,
heavily.
when Anne Rice
that's
first heard-
that's
When Anne Rice first heard that Tom Cruise was playing Lestat, she was apparently completely outraged by this, and was like threatening all sorts of different things. And the producers of the movie turned around to her and said, "Look, we've just completed this one scene between Lestat and Louis, and we invite you to come and watch this and just see what you think and see what your reaction is after that, and you know, please like withhold your judgment until you come and watch it." So Anne Rice kind of held her breath and bit her teeth, and off she went. And the story goes that she sat there and watched this finished sequence and just went, he's Lestat. That's fantastic. He's
He
absolutely
was really good.
I
And
thought he did
he
fairly
was.
well. Yeah.
and she was thrilled with that. And then when they were doing Queen
Queen
of
of the
the Damned, the Queen
Damned.
of the Damned movie, apparently she wanted to go out and just see how it was all going. They showed her a couple of finished scenes of that, and she walked out of there saying they should never have tried to make this movie. And it's the only movie in history that I have ever gotten up and walked out of.
Wow. Okay.
The attempt at adaptation is by names of characters and the looks of characters only. Everything else that is central to the story and central to the characters is either ignored or lied about completely.
Okay.
The best thing to
That
come out of the
movie
Queen
was
of the
made
Dam
in
movie.
Melbourne.
Yes, it was.
Yes.
The only good
Yeah.
thing to come
Yes.
out of the Queen of the Dam movie was the Queen of the Damned soundtrack. That was
Because
Yeah, the soundtrack is pretty good.
every goth in Melbourne was on that in that movie
Yes.
as an extra.
In that,
Yeah.
in the,
Everyone.
Yeah.
yeah,
In the concert
yeah.
Bunch
I
of-
know so many people
Yeah,
who
a
were
bunch
in
of
the
my
big, the
friends.
concert at the end. Yeah.
Yeah. No, a bunch of my friends traveled from Sydney down to Melbourne to be a part of that part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it was a
Yeah.
huge thing when it was
Yeah.
getting filmed, and
Yeah.
there were a bunch of people that like, you got to come on the train with us, and I'm like, being stuck on a train for 17 hours with a bunch of goths. How about no?
About that, yeah. So I just noticed Kirsten saying your favourite book got made into a Netflix series, and you ranted at husband for 45 minutes about hair being wrong, weird subplots. What book? What book, Kirsten? Now you didn't say what it was. I'm fascinated as to what it was, because it's funny.
No, Sahara wasn't in the movie.
If you haven't read the book, adaptations can be, if that's the only thing you know, can be really good, but they can be incredibly disappointing to people who've read the book. But if you don't have an idea before you go and see it, it can still be very good.
That was me with Harry Potter. I watched the first Harry Potter movie
Okay.
before I knew that there was a series of Harry Potter books.
Okay.
I refused to read the books until the Harry Potter movies had finished, because the books are always better, always. And
Yeah.
I didn't want to
Yeah.
have that tarnish my experience of the movies, because I genuinely enjoyed them. I then read the books after the movies. The adaptation isn't the best. It's not the worst, but it isn't the best. But yeah, no, the books, as always better, always.
Yeah.
I've yet to see somebody better.
Most of Fellowship of the Ring is pretty good, accurate by the book.
I would need to read the book.
Yeah, I think
Most
the
of
Lord of
it,
the
like-
Rings generally is a very good adaptation.
Oh, the second movie and the third movie, there were too many glaring inconsistencies for me to say that. But they were, I mean, they were great. But yeah, the first one was the one that was really, really faithful to the book.
Yeah, yeah.
Also, Tolkien explicitly said that if anyone made a movie on his books, you know how like the second and the third book, they split up when the Fellowship split up. Like they did it. He did a whole block of Sam and Frodo, and then a whole block of the rest.
Yeah.
And he explicitly said he didn't want a movie to just cut between the two constantly, like the movies do, but that would make a horrible movie. It would just feel so disconnected. Yeah.
2 points. 2 points. Tolkien wasn't a filmmaker, and
Yes.
he sold the rights like he just took the cash in like the 60s or maybe early 70s. So he actually lost the ability to have a say when he did that.
Yeah.
Oh, Kirsten's saying the show on Netflix is The Duke. Oh, it's Bridgerton. Okay. Yeah, okay.
Oh, I just watched that.
I haven't seen Bridgerton yet.
Don't know it. No, I still say the most amazing thing about the Lord of the Rings movies is that is the director that give us bloody Meet the Feebles.
Yeah.
I know.
Peter Jackson's early
Yeah.
stuff is hilarious.
Tell me about it.
Brain Dead and
Mhm.
Good Burger and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
They give us those, give us that Lord of
Weirdness.
the Rings. I'm just like, what the heck, you know?
Yeah. And he did change up. I found because I've read The Lord of the Rings like 100 times. The stuff he changed, I found fascinating, that he felt compelled to invent some completely new stuff and cut out some stuff.
Yeah.
I thought that was weird. Most of it was okay, and some of it was inexplicable. I was thinking,
Yeah, like the elves appearing at Helm's Deep. Like, what the
I
fuck?
get, and again, I could.
I mean,
see-
I get how they changed the Lord of Helm's Deep to Aemir coming to rescue them. Like, I can get that, because who the hell's this other dude who's coming to help them?
Erkin
but,
Brand fault. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, I'm not good with names, and Tolkien has a lot of people
He has a
with
lot of
names in
names.
his.
But
Yeah,
that's how many
but,
times I read it. Yeah.
yeah. And yet having Haldir and a company of elves appear at Helm's Deep was just
Yeah.
inexplicable.
I can see why he did it, but I'm with you on really. And the bit that always threw me.
I
really-
get it. You had so much of a downer. You needed a little bit of a pick me up before the
Yeah.
big battle.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and Gimli. Oh my God. There's almost an entire chapter devoted to Gimli exploring the caves where all the
I was
refugees.
disappointed that wasn't in there. Yeah.
Me too, because that was just like a huge deal for him. He loved it in there, and
Yeah.
he just took it out.
And I don't know how they convinced themselves dwarf tossing jokes were a good idea.
Oh,
I don't know
Yeah.
where the fuck that came from, but
mhm.
but yeah, look, broadly, I'm like, particularly beefing up female roles, I thought was very good. But then they cut
Yeah,
out
yeah.
a bunch
Needed
of,
it.
like Eowyn meeting up with Faramir in the Houses of Healing, and
It's
that was
in the
weird that they let
it's
that
in the
out.
extended version, and even then, it's 2
It's
minutes,
fleeting
if
though.
that. It's
Yeah.
fleeting.
Yeah,
I
but-
only watch the extended editions. Like I can't
Yeah.
watch the theatrical releases anymore. But yeah, that
And-
was an entire chapter in the book.
Yeah.
And
And
it
I-
was
I-
pivotal to
Yeah.
the character arcs of
Yeah.
both of them. It was like it just needed to be in there, and it was just so fleeting
Yeah.
in the movies. Very disappointing.
I am one of the people who missed Tom Bombadil not being in it. The Tom Bombadil, the Barrow
I gotta
wife.
say, you said okay. The deal with that is that they get the swords of Westernese from the Barrow halls and the Barrowites, the hobbits, and that is why when Pippin stabs the Witch
The
King
Nazgul.
in the it's a Numenese sword. It's not
Yeah.
like some cheap ass Gondorian sword. It's imbued with magic. So that's
Wow,
a
yeah,
case could be
Gondor.
made. A case could be made that that's the killing blow, not
Yeah.
Eowyn stabbing him in the
Stabbing him
face.
through the face.
It's that
Yeah,
sword.
it was made clear in the book that his
Yes.
strike behind the knee was pivotal.
Yeah.
But I tell you, one of the bits
And-
he invented that was stunning. I thought, actually, precursor. I thought the stuff with Faramir in Osgiliath was interesting but unnecessary.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah. Go on.
Faramir's charge, because his dad sent him away. Faramir's charge while Pippin is singing that song was just like that was
An
intense.
emotional. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
fucking
Guys,
intense.
very quickly. I'm going to keep my wife awake, so I got to jump off. I won't
Okay.
be in for the New Year's stream because I'll be having a couple of friends over. So I just wanted to say Happy New Year
okay.
to all. Love you all.
Sure.
Thank you for having me on.
Cool.
Happy New Year,
If you don't want to keep,
Happy New
if
Year.
you don't want to keep her up, I will. The offer's there.
There you go. There you go.
Abigail, as much as she loves you, she loves her sleep so much more. Trust me on this one.
I can't
That's
argue
fair.
with that at all. Sleep is the best.
Indeed. So
Yeah.
my love to you all. Happy New Year to all. And I
long
hope
and
to see you
prosper.
all. Hope to see you all in the early new year.
Cool. Yeah, man.
Good night.
Yes, we saw
Happy
Dixie
New
Rock.
Year.
Anyway, the story of Sauron's search for the ring would have
Yeah.
fundamentally changed in the books if Frodo actually took the ring and one of the ring wraiths saw it. It would have just changed the entire everything after that, because
Yeah.
he would have been dedicated on that. The fact that he was there and a ring wraith was there, I don't know which one it was, is just apocryphal to me. Like it would have
What is
changed
Osgiliath?
everything. Yeah, in Osgiliath.
But they did get him like at Weathertop. He put the ring on, and they saw him.
Yes.
And they stabbed him. But yeah, I
then,
think that Sauron thought that he'd gotten it to Rivendell, and the elves had
Yeah.
it now. He was
Yes.
waiting for Aragorn or an elf to stand forward and go, "Got your ring, motherfucker. What are you going to do?"
Well, yeah, the thought of someone destroying it, quite rightly so, was never crossed his mind, because it was designed so that the closer you got to destroying it, the more you couldn't, and nobody could defy that. It was just part of the ring.
And it was.
And by the end of it, you did start to see
Yep.
that with Frodo. He
Yeah.
struggled.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Physically,
and Tolkien
he-
wrapped it up
He even
really
said,
well,
"Go on."
because in the end,
And that's when Sam
yeah,
said,
Frodo
"No."
couldn't destroy it in the end. It had too much of a hold.
Yep.
But Gollum
Absolutely.
bit his finger off and then celebrated a bit much and fell off a fucking cliff.
yeah.
And that from Tolkien's perspective, that was a
Oh, good.
really good resolution. It's like not even Frodo, the purest to ever have the ring,
Yeah,
could put himself to
absolutely. Yeah.
destroy it. And he
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
fucked up by Gollum.
Which brings
If
an
he
interesting
couldn't,
question.
nobody could. Also,
What if?
just quickly, Kirsten.
Yep.
I often watch the extended versions and then watch the documentary, the director's commentary, and then watch all the behind the scenes stuff, all like 12 DVDs, like
Yeah, I've got that box set.
2 or
Yeah.
3 times a year.
Yep.
2 or 3 times a year. I love it. Can't get
Last
enough.
time I watched it, which was probably a couple years ago, at least a year or two ago, I was going, man, these effects still hold up, because there was a huge amount of physical effects. They built sets.
Yeah,
and-
practical effects. Yeah.
And I loved the stuff. Like there were like 3 versions of the big sets. There was a miniature for long shots, and there was like a quarter size one for medium shots, and then there was the sets that people walked through. And that's how they tricked your eye with all the shots.
Oh yeah, and they even had a name for them, bigatures, because they
Yeah.
were miniatures of
Yeah.
giant sets. Yeah, they
Yeah.
called them
Yeah.
bigatures.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could walk through them. Like, yeah.
So, Abigail, I'm sure
nobody's siding with
Oh,
Kirsten.
I don't think I can be friends anymore if you don't like the movies.
Disavow.
Like-
Disavow.
It's like,
No.
yeah.
So, I'm sure all of you have heard the question on Lord of the Rings of why couldn't the Eagles have carried Frodo and all them to Mount Doom,
Oh.
had the ring top in. I've got an even better question. If it wasn't the
Yeah.
person who was holding the ring who had to destroy it, as evidenced by Frodo not being able to, but
Yeah.
Sam and
Yeah.
Gollum together,
Yeah.
why didn't Elrond just shoot Isildur and shove him in to the volcano with the ring?
Sorry.
Yeah,
Oh, well,
That's fairly fucking evil thing to do.
yeah. He's the
That's
king of
Pretty
Gondor
goddamn evil to
and
murder someone.
Arnor at the time. Yeah.
Yeah,
Gondor
but
and
at that
Arnor.
point he was gone. He was a ringwraith at that point.
Yeah.
No, they didn't know that they would turn into.
Yeah, no, they
ringwraiths.
no, because no mortal had ever had the ring, so no one.
Yeah.
Like Elrond was literally
Yeah.
just saying the only way to be absolutely sure is destroy it, and Isildur went, "No, I'm strong enough to control it," and Elrond's gone, "You fucking suck, dude. You fucking suck." But
At that point,
killing,
arrow in the
killing
back of his head,
no,
arm in
that-
the
that- that's the king. That's the king of men. That is.
Yeah. The
a
king of
genocidal
Numenor.
act of war. That's a genocidal act of war.
It
Yes,
would-
but he's
yeah,
the
yeah,
only
because
one
the
who
men
witnessed
were
it.
so powerful at the time,
Oh yeah,
they could have kicked the elves' ass.
Yeah.
true. And the elves had been declining for
they
the
could-
last.
yeah.
millennia.
Arnor and Gondor in its power, at the height of its power like that,
Mm.
were second only to Numenor or the combined hosts of Valinor.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Frankie the Skin in chat. Yes, you're being a lazy cunt till next week. Me too, man. I am on a holiday,
Hey, Frankie.
which is why I'm on this late. Because I don't have to get up in the morning. But no, the eagle thing has been answered multiple times because the eagles would have been very visible, and Nazgul would have attacked.
On that
Um,
fell
the ring
beast.
corrupts them.
Yep.
And
The rings would
also,
And they
have
they can
mind of their own.
decide not to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's a real fun webcomic, and I think the artist is actually Australian. It's called Oglaf, Oglaf.
I like them. Yeah.
Oglaf.com. Very sexual fantasy comics. They're absolutely hilarious and very well drawn as well. But she had one where it was the hobbits being carried by eagles and saying, "Why don't we get the eagles to carry us everywhere?" And then one of the eagles randomly eats the person it's carrying, and because they're raptors. And then the hobbit goes, "No, cool. Very rarely use the eagles. I get it." It's just like,
Yeah.
but yeah, there are a bunch of obvious reasons that wouldn't have worked.
Yeah.
The eagles might not have wanted to do it because it would have been suicidal, and there's a high chance of failure because they would be so visible. I mean, seriously, all the armies were there. If some eagles come in low enough, over thousands upon thousands of low enough to drop the ring in the volcano, they're within arrow range. They're at very high risk.
Yeah, and I think it was covered in the books. I'm not entirely sure because they do go to visit the eagles in the books, I believe. The head of the eagles outright says we cannot because it will corrupt us. It won't turn them evil per se. But
I don't remember that.
So.
okay,
I've read it like 100 times, and I'm reasonably sure that's not in there.
Yeah, they were corruptible like everything else towards the ring. They were.
But again, they're not a race like humans or elves.
Yeah,
they're
intelligent.
No. Yeah,
They're
the eagles were directly created by Mandos, like the most powerful of the Valar. They reported to him, and they were a cut above regular birds.
Oh yeah,
they were highly intelligent, very strong, very powerful. Yeah, they weren't just
also,
big eagles.
Well, yeah, but also consider who else was Valar, or maybe higher than that. Gandalf and Sauron, and they were.
Gandalf was a Maya. Valar are the demigods. They're the creation. They had a part in the creating from Iluvatar, who is the one god.
Yeah.
Because
I still want to know what happened to the two blue wizards who went off east.
They just fucked off. I think they were smoking a lot of dope, or they were just lovers, and they just found a nice mountain retreat where they were having a lot of.
It was Radagast the Brown who was eternally high. Get it right.
That was such a weird.
The book
they came
hardly
up with.
mentioned him.
Yeah,
but when Radagast is mentioned, he's a fairly big, tough guy. He's with the animals and whatnot. He wasn't a weird little stoner. But
Radagast the Brown, like Radagast the Green.
Yeah. Have you seen there was a thing done around the time of the Doctor Who anniversary? I think it's called the 4.5 Doctors, and it's really funny. It's really funny because, and one of the funny bits in it is it's got the dude who's both the Doctor and Radagast the Brown, and when they're all these original
Sylvester McCoy,
when they're all desperately lobbying to be involved in the anniversary, and suddenly Sylvester's not as interested, and there's just all these vague things because he's got a better job. He's just being cast as Radagast, and he's just like, "Yeah, dudes, it sounded like a good idea, but I'm just not as into it anymore." And even Paul McGann dips out on them, and because he got to do that special prequel thing with the War Doctor, which was fucking great.
Yeah, it was so good, wasn't it? Yeah.
The first time I saw that with the ships crashing, they're involved in the time war, and the ship's crashing, and the pilot's screaming out, "I need a doctor!" And the door opens, and you go, "Oh, of course!" And his first line is,
Yes.
"I'm a doctor, but probably not the one you were expecting." And I was like, "Fucking oath, I was not expecting you! Holy shit! Holy shit!" But that so much of that anniversary stuff was so well done. But now we're just nerding out a whole different genre now. That's okay.
Yeah.
I'm a fucking nerd. Oh, Modern Nerds, I've been watching season 5 of The Expanse. Is anyone into?
I haven't
Expanse?
watched episode 4 yet, but I'm a huge fan of The Expanse. I think it's
Yeah.
great.
I thought they dropped the whole season, and I only just started watching it and got to episode 4, and there's no more. And I went, "Oh, they didn't drop the whole series. Okay, fine." Because it took me the 4 weeks to start watching it, and then it stopped after episode 4, and I was like, "Oh, I thought they dropped the whole season. They're doing it one a week, and I was just catching up." Okay, fine. But yeah, it's fucking dark, the start of it. Just some very dark shit happening in the first couple of episodes. Far darker than I thought they were going to go. And it's like, okay, Jesus, this shit's serious with major attacks and and people getting all fucked up and stuff. And it's like, ooh.
Yeah.
But so they're definitely going there this season, and it'll be interesting because the guy who plays the Martian on the crew has been dropped because he sexually assaulted a bunch of women. Yeah, I know,
Okay.
right? That came out about a year ago. A bunch of people came forward, and there was an investigation. And the season 5 was being shot when the investigation was on. And after the investigation, they went, "Oh no, he fucking did it. No." So he's been cut. So there's going to be one more season. So I don't know if they're going to rewrite it so his character's not in it, or just recast the character. But
Recasting is not done very often anymore.
no, it's a bit fraught. But yeah, I don't know what. There's not been an official word apart from he's definitely cut. Yeah, apparently it wasn't one or two. Apparently it was not one or two incidents. It was a succession of extremely bad behavior. Like to the extent he's way lucky he's not in court at the moment. So, but I don't know if anyone's actually going to press criminal charges. Oh God! I just noticed Frankie saying he thought your expression, Nettie, was as if Aidsy had just offered you a shit sandwich, which is oh God! Frankie's saying I've got a Steve Bannon style haircut, which is harsh but fair. I have not had my haircut like since lockdown, so 6 months without a haircut. And now I'm just too lazy or undecided as to whether to get a haircut again, because it's quite long at the moment. If I do sort of like it's it's this long. So when I sleep, it goes. So yeah, Mrs. Angry says I look like a mad scientist in the mornings. It's
You should go the mohawk.
no, I don't think so.
Do
So
it.
then you just shave here, shave there. I'll leave the rest.
Yeah, no, as I said earlier, I have actually done that in the past. I had the mullet mohawk. This was I cut after
Mullet
letting
mohawk.
it go really long. I cut this short, shaved at the sides, and had the long bit at the back. So it was basically a mullet mohawk. Very stylish.
So it's
Very stylish.
So Frankie the Skin, I would say if an actor or if a person acting dies, recasting could be an option, but it's still kind of weird, and viewers we're not watching I Dream of Jeannie or what was it? Bewitched. That was Bewitched was
They
the one.
recast the lead in Bewitched.
The,
No
one
one
of-
was
yeah, I
looking
know.
at the guy.
And no one said
no
a
one
word.
was looking at the guy in that
Because
show.
they were both called Darren.
Yep.
I didn't
but,
even
like-
notice.
No,
Um,
Dick. Their name was Dick. Sorry.
Yeah,
Was it-
Dick. Mm.
Both actors' names.
I
The character
it's
was
been too
Darren.
long.
Both,
But
both-
like they recast the Oracle in the Matrix movies because she died.
yes.
Oh, oops.
And then came up with an in universe explanation to why, and I can
Mm.
understand that. They
What other-
recast. They recast. Sorry,
Dumbledore.
Dumbledore
Reason.
because he died.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, that was fine. Like that actually wasn't a problem. I
Yeah.
thought that was a fine recasting. The Dark Knight trilogy. They recast what's her name? Because I'm bad with names, and no one noticed. No one noticed at all. Katie Holmes's role, I think it was.
Yeah. And then it was
Yeah.
and the recasting was better, but yeah.
yeah. But yeah, like recasting because someone quits or goes to jail or
Yeah.
convicted
What
of
is the
sexual
other
assault.
recast?
No, you don't get a recast. Your character just dies pointlessly, as far as I'm
Yeah.
concerned.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Are there any other really big recastings? We were talking about Interview with a Vampire before. So yeah, they recast Lestat and that disastrously.
Yeah.
What else? There must be some other really high-profile recastings. I'm struggling to think of them at the moment, though. Oh well, actually, Mad Max,
yeah.
Fury Road, a different actor playing
Yep.
Max, which apparently almost drove him insane. Like some of the behind-the-scenes talk, like he and Charlize Theron didn't get on at all.
Oh,
But-
really?
Oh,
Oh no,
I
apparently
didn't
not.
know that.
at all. But
Oh.
in more recent interviews, Charlize Theron has said, I might not have been as empathetic towards him as I should have, because in retrospect, because we have talked since, because I've just gone public and said he was a piece of shit, and he's come to me and said I was a piece of shit. And but she thinks I may not have been empathetic enough towards him because the pressure of taking on the Mel Gibson role was doing his head in, and he was freaking out. He was freaking out the whole time, and he just thought the whole world was going to hate him. And Tom Hardy seems like a reasonably balanced person. So if he was
No.
really
No,
shit,
He's not.
he's not.
Well,
There's a reason why he
he's
always
gotten
plays
better.
psychos.
yeah,
Yeah, he's gotten better, but like his earlier roles, he was doing so much cocaine, like so much. If you see him, he was in a Star Trek movie. He was in Star Trek Nemesis, and if you
Yeah.
compare him to when
Trek?
he's in the
The
Dark Knight
teenager.
Rises,
yeah,
two of him from Star Trek could have fit in the body of Bane from
Yeah.
Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
He was so thin and
Yeah.
just high constantly, and like yeah. When
Last
he quit and started bulking up, that's when like he matured a bit.
he was only a teenager in Nemesis, wasn't he?
He was 20s. I'll look it up.
Yeah, because last time I saw Nemesis, and this was a couple of years ago, like I watched it, and it was bugging the shit out of me. Who the hell? That is someone. Who the hell is that? Who is that? So I jump on Google and oh fuck, that's Tom Hardy. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Fucking
Have you
hell.
guys seen Taboo?
Yes,
Have
I
you guys-
love Taboo.
Oh,
I
I love
haven't.
the soundtrack. The soundtrack for Taboo is the best music if you have to write a big ass essay about some really deep fucking atrocities.
Oh, nice.
It is, yeah, it completely brought my like la-di-da-di-da, I'm such a girl. Right down to, oh, let's deal with some shit now.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an amazing soundtrack. But Tom Hardy has always been cast as a complete psycho, I always thought, you know.
Yeah, but that's acting. I see lovely pictures of him cuddling puppies, and I think he's I think he's great.
He
he
almost had a nervous breakdown.
He's been there.
Yeah.
After Star Trek
Sorry.
Nemesis bombed, he almost had a nervous breakdown because he felt so
Aw.
guilty. Yeah.
Oh,
It wasn't his
baby.
fault.
Aw.
He was fine, but yeah, he put so much of himself into that role, and the movie bombed. He was trying really hard.
Aw.
But he was also
He seems
high on
like that
cocaine
kind of
constantly.
guy.
Yeah.
I love Taboo. I think he worked on it with his dad. Like it was a story that his father had been working on for decades or something like that.
Yeah.
Might be talking out of my ass.
As Frankie points out in Legend, he played both Cray twins and actually did quite a good job. Quite a good job of playing both Cray twins.
I remember him playing a kind of Chopper type character, but an English one.
Bronson.
What was that?
The movie's called Bronson.
Yes, that's
He's
it.
absolutely insane. That movie is tripping balls. He's insane in Bronson.
Okay, so
love
Tom
it.
Hardy
He
was
can play Chopper
25.
easy.
Was he 25?
25. He was born in 1977, and the movie was 2002.
Okay.
Now he's probably 24, but
Okay. But
yeah,
no, if he was
was
24, 25, he was on shit tons of cocaine. He was.
yeah, I know.
I seriously.
Yeah.
He's so small. I thought he was a teenager. I thought he was a teenager.
No, he just it was just amping up his metabolism with
Oh my god.
stimulants and
He was so
amphetamines.
good in Wuthering Heights. He was a perfect Heathcliff.
See, again, another movie I haven't seen.
No, I haven't seen that one.
You've got to see Wuthering Heights. It wasn't a movie. I think it was. I think it was a miniseries. Yeah,
So I just
early 2000s.
since you brought up Taboo, I just keep hearing him that recurring line he had when he was messing with people. Just go, "I have a use for you." Just like, this crazy, creepy motherfucker just leaning into you, going, "I have a use for you." And it's just like, oh my god.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Raised
Oh
by an
no, he'd be a
African
bad daddy. That one.
What year was the movie?
What movie? Sorry.
Taboo.
Oh, Wuthering Heights. I think it might
No,
have been,
Taboo.
I don't know, 2010, maybe earlier.
Taboo.
I'm talking
Taboo was
about Taboo.
about 2
Oh,
years.
Taboo.
about
That's
2
still
years.
going.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a
It's one of
TV
those
series.
prestige-
Okay.
TV series.
Okay.
Yeah. And I
Yeah,
think
it's one of those prestige ones.
because he was a producer on that. I think that was literally one of the pay TV producers just talked to Tom Hardy and said, "Do you want to do a series? You can do literally whatever you want, but if you commit to being in a full series with us, we'll fund it." And Tom Hardy's just gone, "Fuck yeah, crazy TV show incoming."
But I love the intersections that are going on in Taboo, because it's basically this guy who was treated like crap by the East India Company.
Yeah.
Washes ashore after being treated by crap by the East India Company, washes ashore in Africa and is rescued, and then goes through all their initiations and whatnot, and comes back basically with the spirit of a black man.
Yes.
And the
like,
spirit of
does he have-
vengeance.
Yeah. Does he have magical powers, or does he just have a really strong personality? Because he's been through all those rituals, and it's like, does he have actual power, or is it just this frighteningly intense personality he has?
Yes. And it's, I mean, it's definitely fiction. His mother is actually is supposed to be a Native American. So
Right,
he's got all this mixture of the power of all these different cultures, and he comes together in a very powerful character. It's just amazing, and if you know the history and stuff like that, and I'm sure that you'd be sensitive to this stuff, Abigail, you'd enjoy it. You may not approve of the character, but you'd enjoy it.
Sure.
Yeah. I was trying to
He's a
think.
scary, scary man.
The other one when Frankie brought up Tom Hardy playing both Kray brothers was interesting because the Kray twins, 60s London mobsters, they were identical twins, but through adulthood they ended up looking quite different. It's Ronnie and Reggie, and I think it was Ronnie who put on more weight. So although they were identical twins, they actually looked quite different. And so Hardy actually did that, like shot the stuff separately, and they used movie magic to put them together. And he did quite a good job, particularly because I think it was Ronnie who was regarded as being the extremely unhinged one. Like they were both pretty out there, but I think it was Ronnie was regarded to just, being a psychopath. And there's a great scene in the movie where he's arguing with himself, which must have been so, you had to do it completely separately, where and Reggie is basically telling Ronnie, you're fucking insane. You just want to kill everyone. And then Ronnie does this really restrained thing where he basically says, like, I know who you've killed, man. You can't call me insane. Because if I'm insane, you're insane, okay? Because I know what you've done. It's just like the pair of them were just like they were only ever convicted of 2 or 3 murders because no one would ever testify against them because they were reputed to have killed dozens of people.
I remember seeing a movie in which the twins from Spandau Ballet played the Kray brothers.
Yes, and that was the thing because again,
That was a good movie.
The Kemp twins weren't identical twins, so they were actually a good physical thing. Yeah, no, that one was called The Krays. I thought that was actually pretty good.
I saw that one. I didn't know he played. I didn't know Tom Hardy had. Well, what was the name of the movie that Tom Hardy was?
Legend.
Legend. Okay, I'm definitely looking that one up.
But the one with the Kemp twins had the scene I loved because one of the rival heavies from another gang had been bad-mouthing Ronnie and saying he was a big fat poof who didn't have any guts. And I do remember watching a doco with surviving gang members being, yeah, they called Ronnie a big fat poof, and Ronnie got upset, even though Ronnie was a bit fat and he liked boys. But it's just this guy was calling him a big fat poof. And there's a scene in the one with the Kemp twins where Ronnie goes into the pub where this rival heavy is, and he goes, and he just holds up his beer and goes, oh, look who it is. It's the big fat poof himself. And Ronnie pulls out a gun and he goes, go on then, do it. You haven't got the bottle. And as he takes a drink, Ronnie just goes, bam. And that was one of the ones he was convicted of because he just shot the guy in a pub full of people. And it was just like, you can't intimidate 30 witnesses. It's just and that's when you know you're unhinged. But the story I've told before, there was Australian, if you want a fun read about the razor gangs in Sydney in the 20s.
Yes.
A book called Chow Hayes. He was one of the most famous of the razor gang enforcers. The book's called Gunman. Chow Hayes, Gunman. A journal. Chow Hayes lived to be an old man and died in a retirement home. And this journo found him and interviewed him and collated all his stories. And one of the things that they couldn't get witnesses for. A rival gang guy was trying to kill Chow and accidentally killed his nephew. Like someone came out of the house and he thought it was Chow and he killed him, and it was Chow's nephew. So Chow swore vengeance, of course, and he was a bad killer. And so this guy apparently just disappeared for months, if not years. And then at some point he showed up. He thought it must have been safe. And they were at this nightclub. It's downstairs. The venue's still there. It's downstairs in Martin Place in Sydney. And it was like a big sort of thing going on. And Chow was there with his other Razor Gang guys. And he saw this guy had come in and sat at a table. And he walked over to him and said, "We need to have a talk." And the guy goes, "Talk?" No, not, I don't want to upset the ladies. Let's go outside and talk. He's going to kill you. He wants there to be no witnesses. And the guy's going, "No, I'm fine here." And he's going, "No, come on, let's just talk." And this went on for a while. And the guy's saying, "If you're so anxious to talk, just say what you've got to say here." And Chow just lost it and went, "Fair enough," and just pulled out a revolver and went bang, bang, bang. And the guy went flying backwards, table kicked over, everyone's screaming. And then Chow just walked around the table and put the other 3 rounds into him. This was in a full nightclub. Nobody saw anything. There was not a single witness. He was prepared to pull a gun out in a room full of people and put 6 rounds into this guy. No one was willing to testify. And the cops are like, "You are fucking kidding." Like, there was the body, 6 bullets in it, club full of people, and the cops are like, "We've got him. And they couldn't. And someone said, "I didn't see anything. It was noisy. And it was just like, I swear to God, he just murdered a guy in front of 50 people, and none of them will say anything because they're scared shitless because he just murdered a guy in front of 50 people."
Yeah, it kind of works like that, I guess. Yeah.
Bizarre is they did eventually convict him and his sidekick on falsified evidence. It was absolutely hilarious. They convicted them of some murders they totally did, but the evidence was completely falsified by corrupt cops. And it's just like,
corrupt cops with a short temper.
Yeah, that's just weird. It's like, you got them, but you got them on false evidence, but it was for something they actually did.
That's how it worked back then. Like, the cops didn't have great technology. They just were behind the 8 ball all the time back then.
Yeah.
I found out that one of the biggest, meanest gangs in San Francisco back in the day, when they had such things, were called the Sydney Gang. That's it. They were from Sydney. They were just bastards from Sydney. Yeah. They turned up in San Francisco, and they started a fire that took out half the city. And shit like that. Yeah. And then a big vigilante movement started. And they all got deported back to Australia.
Yeah. And of course, the fun touch about Chow Hayes and the Razor gangs, he was just the heavy. The gangs, the 2 biggest Razor gangs were run by women, Tilly Devine and Kate Lee. And oh my God, they were amazing. And the reason they got around it is because the laws were actually, for running brothels and whatnot, the laws specifically said something about if a man runs a house of ill repute, 20 years, and they had never conceived of women being criminals on this scale. So the laws actually specifically mentioned, and so they got off more than once because they said, the law just said this is illegal if a man does it. And they're like, yeah, but, and their lawyers going, the law says. So they never imagined women being as brutal as Tilly Devine and Kate Lee. And like I said, these guys who were stone killers were their minions. They weren't the bosses. They were like, yeah, okay, go and cut that guy's face with a razor for sure. And it was just like, how tough do you have to be? A woman in the 20s running massive gangs of homicidal maniacs. My God, what were those women like? My God.
It's scary as fuck.
Oh, no.
Oh,
just like-
man.
Sake. Tilly Devine didn't die till 1970.
Really? Whoa.
And Kate Lee lived to 82. She died in 64. And Chow Hayes died in the 80s. So most of them died young because of the fucking bullshit that they're doing. But a handful of them died of old age. And it's just like,
Because they were good at it.
Yeah.
Wow. Imagine being that good at surviving.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just-
Tilly Devine is like,
That's just full on stuff. And that's what I love telling people, like, when you're the Americans, oh, yeah, our cowboys in the Wild West with this. Do you know what bushrangers would do? They would have like 4 rifles and 3 or 4, and they'd be coming in with shotguns and shit. And just, no, they're not this sort of, I'm riding my horse into town with my 6-gun by my side. They were. That's
I
mad
got
Irish.
to plug you back in.
Oh, you're running
Sorry.
out.
Yeah, I'm running out. Whoa!
Has anyone ever seen the movie Requiem for a Dream?
Oh my God, I have.
Yeah, when you run around with the laptop, that reminds me of those scenes in Requiem for a Dream where it's a fixed camera and the person's. I know.
I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
All right. I am going to go to bed.
Yeah, everyone's
So-
gone quiet.
Yeah, no, it's
Oh.
11:15.
I'm just
Cool.
listening to the conversation.
I'm running out of
Yeah,
steam.
and I'm like
Mm.
browsing and doing
You'll
lots of
carry on
things.
the
And
conversation.
Oh,
I'm
yes,
going to go to
I'm
bed. Thank you to everyone in the chat.
Cool.
Frankie, see you,
good
buddy.
night.
Bye.
Live long and prosper.